life is I genuinely could not find a hat. And so as a result, I was running around the house desperately trying to find one. And the one that I did find was like really tight, and it was a whole world of pain for me. But here we are, NXT, and should be a decent show, actually. Just looking at the lineup that we've got tonight, we've got an interview with Adam Cole. We've got Dakota Kai taking on Raquel Gonzalez. We've also got Bronson Reed taking on Austin Theory. Obviously, if Reed can win that, he is going to get an opportunity again at the North American Championship. We've also got Kushida and MSK taking on Legado del Fantasma. So those are the things that have been announced for tonight. And it looks like a decent show. Obviously, there's going to be more than that. It's been a while since we've seen that Tion Shah. So I don't know what's happening there. So hopefully we get a bit more kind of development with that story as well. But I thought that last week was a decent show. Obviously, this is going to be miles better, you would imagine, than where we were with Raw, which I think was pretty much universally panned. Although saying that, I did see a few reviews that were giving it like 5s and 6s, which I thought was quite high. But pretty well everywhere else, like it was getting like pretty negative responses. So yeah, you know, I'm very much looking forward to watching NXT and seeing if they can kind of cheer up our mood a little bit more, shall we say. Joaquin Uribe, shout out to you, buddy. Raw makes me not believe in God. Okay. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, as I said, I saw quite a lot of negative reactions to it. Although, I do have to stress, I did see some people online saying that they enjoyed it. I saw more people saying, like, why? I saw a lot of people saying, if you don't enjoy it, why are you watching it? I saw quite a lot of people saying that, and it's a fair point. It is a fair point, but as I said yesterday in the stream, I kind of feel that we watch it hoping for better than what we get, expecting better than what we get. So yeah, I certainly don't like being like down and negative for the sake of it, but yeah, you have to be honest, and you have to be honest if you're watching something and it's just not that great. But yes, I've got high hopes for NXT tonight. Harley said, Days, I thought Trish wanted her match with Charlotte to be her last match because she doesn't have it anymore. Surprisingly, she still had it and had a great match. Do you think she will return to face Sasha? It's a bit random. I haven't heard any news about Trish coming back, to be honest. But could she come back and have a match? Sure. I can't see really a reason why not. So yeah, I kind of feel that she could come back and do another match. I think that was a goodbye match, wasn't it, against Charlotte? So I don't know. I don't know if like mentally she might have moved on. Physically, she might still be able to, but mentally, I suppose you've got to draw a line somewhere, haven't you? It's difficult for wrestlers to do that, but maybe Trish has. Maybe Trish has. I mean, there's always going to be matches whenever you leave. So, you know, even if she was to have that final match with Sasha, people will want her to face Bianca. People will want her to face Rhea Ripley. People will want her to face Raquel Gonzalez and Candice LeRae. And, you know, there's always going to be matches. So, I don't know. I don't know where she is mentally with that. But I do agree physically she looked very good. Louise Kane said, Days, I hope you got a message. That song really helped me and remember the good times with my Uncle Jimmy. Shout out to you, buddy. Yes, thank you. Appreciate you sending that over. Edward Brown, shout out to you. Hope you are well. Austin says, Raw was awesome last night, Days, and you know it. Better than this week's UFC. Daniel said, Days, I no longer watch Raw live. I watch without commercials and skip the boring parts. Takes about 35 minutes to watch now. Do you know what? Actually, there's quite a few people that I think watch it that way. There's quite a lot of people I know that watch Raw, like DVR it. And it does help with just speeding through. I mean, honestly, even if you just speed through commercials, I think on the network, Raw runs for about 2 hours 15, 2 hours 16. something along those lines. So I don't know. I kind of feel that that's probably not the worst way to watch it, because even just by getting past commercials, you're cutting out 45 minutes. And then obviously if you do get a segment that you're just like, yeah, this isn't for me, this is definitely not for me, then you could whiz through that as well. So I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel like this is just Raw, really. I mean, I kind of feel that Raw has been this way for a little while. I think it's gone a little bit stale. I think that it needs something. It needs freshening up. I kind of feel last year we had the pandemic and we had the Performance Center, and it's like, how are they going to do this without a crowd? There was a lot of intrigue. I seem to remember as well, like Bayley, Asuka, Sasha doing some great work on the show, and that was quite interesting. Wasn't it like Seth and Mysterio and the eye being poked out and that kind of stuff? Becky walking away. I kind of feel like there was like a few moments last year that really kind of helped Raw and the intrigue of Raw and what are they going to do this week. I just don't feel like any of that is there right now. I don't really go into Raw with many questions anymore. Maybe that's part of the problem. I was thinking about this, actually, about Lily. Lily. I think it's a bit disappointing that they've shown us Lily, because I kind of feel like it might have made a bit more impact if, like, Alexa had been sat in her playground and was telling stories of her past, and started saying and talking about how Lily made me do it, and that Lily was coming. Because I kind of feel like then there would be a lot of talk, there'd be a lot of speculation. Who is Lily? Who's going to play the role of Lily? I mean, granted, it's turned out to be just a doll, right? But I do feel like maybe they've done this the wrong way round. Rather than showing us the doll first, they maybe could have got a bit of mileage out of, getting us to speculate. Fans love doing that. Fan theories is a massive part now of wrestling, and speculation and, people going online, spreading the latest information and the latest rumors and gossip, and all of that has become a big, big part of wrestling. It never used to be. Certainly not when I was a kid. I wasn't gossiping about things I'd heard about wrestling, 'cause I hadn't heard anything about wrestling. There was nowhere to hear it. Whereas now it's become a big part of wrestling. So I wonder if they're doing things a little bit differently now. Because I kind of feel like last year and with The Fiend, they would have done this a little different. Just as I was watching Alexa say, Lily made me do it, it made me think, could you imagine if we hadn't already seen who Lily was? The speculation would be going through the roof. So, I don't know. I think there's a few things they need to obviously tweak and change, but we'll need more than an hour to go through that. Joaquin Uribe says, is there any news or rumours? To be honest, I haven't seen a great deal today. I saw the fallout to Raw, which, as I said, got largely negative reactions, but there were people out there that thought it was a alright show. We've got... Just having a look at the news now. Undertaker admits regrets whilst watching WrestleMania 37. What's this? Oh, I do know this. This is old news. Undertaker saying how hard it was to not be at WrestleMania this year. I've already seen that story. No. Look, I'm just looking at all the news that's come out in the past few hours, and there's pretty much nothing here. Just like Xavier Woods has got a dream job of merging wrestling with video games. Yeah, good for him. More news on Mark Carrano's departure. Apparently, he's upset quite a few people over the years. There's a new ring announcer for 205 Live called Samantha Irvin. So on. No, nothing really, to be honest. Quite a quiet day. Lauren said AJ and Amos are going to be on the bump tomorrow. Cut off the end of your message there. Hang on, let me see if I can find it again. Lauren, where are you? Where have you gone? There we go. AJ and Amos will be on the bump tomorrow. I hope we get some answers. Andrus says, Shotzi and Ember versus Jessie and Aliyah. A non-title match has now been announced. Okay. Taboy says, I guess you could say Raw has been Raw recently. Days, which brand do you think Daniel Bryan will go to if he loses on Friday, says Dylan. Well, I would love it to be NXT. I would love for it to be NXT because I do think that NXT is the right place for him. I think there's a lot of talent down there. There's a lot of inexperience down there. You've got some experience. Obviously, you've got Triple H and Shawn and a few other producers and whatnot. And obviously, you've got Finn Balor and I suppose in a way, Breezango, Ember Moon. You know, I suppose you've got an experienced tag team, an experienced woman, an experienced male star. So there is some experience down there, but you couldn't put a price on adding Daniel Bryan into that mix. Could you imagine Daniel Bryan working with some of that young talent that's really coming through? I just think that would be absolutely invaluable. And he would be able to have some incredible matches. I mean, that would be massive for NXT. Absolutely huge. And it's where Daniel started. Don't forget, Daniel came into WWE through season 1 of NXT. So back when it was like a reality show kind of a format. And we had his, what was it, pros and rookies. So his mentor was The Miz. And obviously that started one of the kind of best feuds, really, of the past 10, 15 years. So, yeah, I kind of think him going back to NXT now that his main run is done, doing some work down there, still getting the occasional big match as well. Certainly he'd be at takeovers and whatnot. And I think, you know, could even be competing for the title and they could include an NXT match at WrestleMania. I mean, I was stunned they didn't this year. Obviously, we got the women's match last year. But we didn't get any this year at WrestleMania. So, you know, you could always use him if you wanted on a big pay-per-view if he is down in NXT. But, yeah, I think NXT for me. I mean, he could go to Raw and he would probably really help Raw. That would be, you know, a boost. But I think it's creatively they need to change. I don't think Daniel Bryan is going to fix a lot by going to Raw, to be honest. I think creatively they really need to mix things up. And unless they're moving Daniel over to do that, because he did do some work with SmackDown Creative, thinking about it. So that's quite interesting, thinking about that. Because he was getting quite a bit of success working with SmackDown Creative. So maybe he could go over and work with Raw Creative. So I wouldn't be against that. Just hard to believe that he's going to have the same influence, because I think Raw is still seen as the A show. I think Raw is still seen as Raw. Do you know what I mean? Like Vince's baby. I just get the feeling that Vince is more hands-on with Raw than SmackDown. I may be saying that because Raw is not as good as SmackDown, so it probably just feels like Vince is more hands-on when it comes to Raw. But, yeah, it's a good question. Where will Daniel Bryan go? Where will he go? I can see arguments for both NXT and Raw now that we're sitting here and talking about it. Not Lock Jones says, did you see that Jake Paul accepted Usman's challenge? I did not, no. I did actually check Jake Paul's Twitter. He put up a really good TikTok. Was it the other day? I know that sounds like a really weird sentence. But I never go on TikTok, so I don't really ever watch them. But I watched this one, and it was him in his bathroom, and he was kind of thinking, and he was doing the voiceover. And as he was thinking, he was like, everyone hates me in the MMA world. Shall I leave them alone or wind them up some more? And he says, I'll wind them up some more. And he shows a picture of a plane, and then when he puts it down, there's a plane, so he's left his bathroom. He gets off the plane, goes to, obviously, UFC at the weekend, and then you just see him there, like, with his hands in the air as the crowd are chanting F Jake Paul, and he's there just winding them all up. So, like, obviously he's having fun with the fact that he went and did that. And he also, I saw him tweet out to Dana as well, saying, telling Dana that he needs to start paying his fighters better, and all of this kind of stuff. So he's still really twisting the knife into Dana. He's still really sticking it to Dana. So, yeah, I don't know how this is going to play out. I get the feeling Dana's not even going to talk about him anymore. I get the feeling, looking at the post-UFC 261 press conference, Dana was getting very angry that the journalists were talking about Jake Paul. So I get the feeling that Dana's, like, not interested anymore. I think Dana realizes that he is giving Jake Paul free promotion. So, yeah, I could see that. I don't know if it'll fizzle out, because I don't know if Jake Paul's going to let it fizzle out. But I could see Dana not playing along anymore. But no, I didn't see what Usman's challenge was, to be honest. So, not luck. Let me know, what was that? What was that about? Rick E245 said, I would like to see Daniel Bryan versus Pete Dunne if Daniel Bryan goes to NXT. Yeah, I mean, there's loads of really good matches for Daniel Bryan down in NXT. Pete Dunne definitely comes to mind. I mean, what a match that would be. Johnny Gargano as well. Johnny is someone that always is capable of great matches. You know, he's had many 5-star matches down in NXT, and I kind of feel like he could potentially have another one with Daniel Bryan. I mean, I just kind of feel like the pressure would be off. I think that Daniel would have a bit more freedom when it comes to NXT. Like, they kind of appreciate the in-ring stuff a lot more than what you get on, certainly Raw, but maybe arguably SmackDown as well. I kind of feel like NXT is very much the wrestling brand. I think Raw is the sports entertainment brand, and in a way, I think SmackDown's in the middle. So I kind of think that Daniel going to NXT, where, you know, they have longer matches and the wrestling is given a bit more of a spotlight. It's where people like Timothy Thatcher can, you know, do their work. I kind of feel like Daniel Bryan would really excel in that kind of an environment. So very exciting if he does go to NXT. Huge for NXT if he goes to NXT. Hayden, shout out to you. I did see you saying hello. Hello. Days, you missed 2 super chats. I don't think I did I? Unless you was talking about those 2 that I just went back to. Totally Days. I love speculation, says Butterspark. WWE creative just don't get that. Yeah, I don't really quite understand. The only thing I could think, just going back to that Alexa Bliss point, the only thing I could think about that was perhaps they realised that the reveal would suck. Like, you know, if they build up, you know, Lily made me do it, and everyone's like, I bet Lily is Nikki Cross, or I bet Lily is whoever, yeah, and everyone's speculating, getting excited, and then it's revealed to be this doll. Like, I think people then would be like, I'm out. Do you know what I mean? That what? Kind of like, you know, when with Rowan, everyone was trying to speculate what was inside the cage, and then it was revealed to be that spider, and everyone was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm out. That's the only reason I could think that they'd done it this way. Otherwise, I think the other way would have been very beneficial to get everyone talking about it. To Boy said, I heard someone say that Bryan could go to NXT, but I just don't see it happening. You're right, you are registered. That's all right. Austin316, shout out to you. Harley said, Days, what are you talking about? Raw was the best show of the century. It had T-Bar and Mace, and it had Mandy Rose, which was incredible. Probably the next Stone Cold. Landon said, Days, do you miss The Fiend as champion? I don't mind The Fiend being champion. You all know what I'm going to say. I feel that the championship is to recognise who is the best. The championship is to recognise who is the person, who are we putting the spotlight on. And the struggle that I have with that being The Fiend is that with all of the supernatural stuff, I think that takes away from the wrestling. I think, you know, it doesn't work for me. Like, The Fiend is an attraction. The Fiend is kind of off righting wrongs. You know, The Fiend exists because Bray Wyatt was kind of treated so badly. You know, the Fiend is Bray's darkness, or at least that's what we were told. So I kind of feel that he should be getting revenge on all the people that wronged him. And honestly, I don't feel that the Fiend really should be going for championships. I kind of feel like, for me, the perfect story for the Fiend would have been to have gone around righting all of the wrongs, and then the final wrong that needed to be righted would be to win the championship, because he did win it before, but he lost it just a few weeks later. I think he won it at Elimination Chamber in just before WrestleMania 33, and then lost it at WrestleMania 33. So he didn't have it for very long. So I kind of feel like a wrong that needed to be righted is for him to get the championship and get a good championship reign. And I kind of feel like you right all the wrongs, and then there's one piece left, and then, you know, the story becomes, can he reach the mountaintop? And you know, what the other thing I would do as well would be for Bray to say that he wasn't going to go for the belt as the Fiend, which might upset a few people. But I wouldn't have him go for it as the Fiend. I think the Fiend was out to right wrongs, and if he did that and he got revenge on everyone that had wronged him, I then really like the idea of Bray saying, I've got myself back to a position now where there's one missing piece. There's one final piece to this first puzzle, if you will, and that is the title. And for him to go for it as himself, because what you're doing then is you are really getting the support of everyone, because all of a sudden it becomes a bit personal. It becomes like something that people will be willing him on to do and to achieve, and it's like you can understand the backstory to it and the psychology to it, and I would have gone that way. So would I mind the Fiend being champion? No, just as long as it was done the right way, and I think I would have gone about it that way. But my concern would be that, you know, the Fiend now would have a match, clap his hands, lights would go out, and when they come back on, the person's, you know, being mandible clawed out of nowhere, and to me, there's just no skill to that. There's no drama or intrigue or anything like that. So I don't want to see that. I mean, I don't want to see that in a normal match. I certainly don't want to see it in a title match. Like the stuff we saw with Alexa was honestly offensive to me. When she was facing Asuka for the championship, and like the lights went out, they came on, she's on a rocking horse in the middle of the ring. Like, that is enough to, like, I could have gone off at that point. I was honestly having to bite my tongue a lot, because, like, that's not what should happen for me in any match, but a championship match. It's just not what I want from wrestling. Let's put it that way. If you liked it, cool, but it's not what I look for when I watch WWE. So that would be my concern. Bonkers LFC says Bryan on Raw wins the Raw Championship and then goes up against Roman at Survivor Series. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, I don't quite know how I feel about the Daniel Bryan Roman storyline, because I sort of feel like Daniel is a good name for Roman to win a feud over, because obviously, you know, he's got name recognition, he's a legend, a future Hall of Famer, absolutely no denying that. And it's a little bit similar to Roman overcoming Kevin Owens. I kind of feel like Roman overcomes these people so that when he does get beaten, it's going to feel even bigger. You know, Kevin Owens couldn't do it. Daniel Bryan couldn't do it. Potentially in the future, Edge couldn't do it. So, you know, how's Big E going to do it? Wow, Big E has done it. What a moment. Like, that's what I'm hoping for. So, Daniel Bryan winning the Raw Championship or the WWE Championship and facing Roman at Survivor Series, I don't know if that's something that I would personally be looking to go back to and revisit. I think I think it's maybe, if you are going to do that, champion versus champion, I think I'd rather it be a match that we wouldn't really have had before. I think that's part of the appeal. If you're going to do champion versus champion, then I kind of feel like you need it to be a match that we've not seen before. You need it to be a dream match. Survivor Series really only works if it can give you dream matches. Like, we're going to take this person from Raw and this person from SmackDown, and they're going to have a match. It's like everyone would love to see, I don't know, Roman versus Kenny Omega, yeah? Or Seth versus Kenny Omega, or Triple H versus Cody, but I doubt you ever will. But WWE can do it when it comes to the Raw and the SmackDown rosters. So for me, that's where Survivor Series, if you are going to keep doing it that way, that's where it really works. So to sacrifice that for a match that we've seen before, I think would be a bit of a shame, to be honest. So it's not the way that I would personally go. Austin, I want your opinion on this one. I hear from you. Who do you think is the next Fiend opponent? Austin, Taboy wants to know, who do you think is going to be the Fiend's next opponent, which is a good question. Tatiana Wrestling says NXT UK is booking a Kenny Williams and Amir Jordan match for this Thursday. Loser leaves NXT UK. But I think whoever loses will leave NXT UK and go to NXT. I hope that does happen, and I hope it's Williams. Interesting. Days, have you seen the new Mortal Kombat movie? No. I would check it out. But I'm not going to be going to a cinema for that. Like, if it was on some streaming platform, like when it hits Netflix, I'll watch it. But I'm not in a rush. I like the game, but I'm not someone that's desperate to race out to a cinema to go and watch it, to be honest. But I've heard good stuff about it. Jeremy says, imagine the $1 Million Man appears on NXT and confronts Cameron Grimes. Some rumours about that, Jeremy. There are some rumours that we could be looking at something along those lines. So definitely don't rule it out. I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen, but I think he's been mentioned quite a bit. And there are rumours that they are looking at doing something there. Harry Richards Music said, Days, how do you see Aleister Black being used this time around in WWE? I really hope he gets a big push and wins some sort of championship. I just want WWE to use him properly. I am really on board with this Aleister Black thing. I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with it. So I like the fact that he was sat there in glasses and felt like there was a little bit more to his character, because even though I really liked what he was doing before, we never really got much in the way of like depth to his story. Like, I don't know anything about him. I don't know why he acts the way that he acts, or what he's trying to achieve, or what he stands for, or any of this. Whereas within one 5-minute promo, I think I already know more about this version of Aleister Black than I did the old version of Aleister Black. Like, this version of Aleister Black, talking about how he was taken to where the elders were, and he thought he was being trained to, what did he say? Thought he was being trained to defeat the dragon, but he soon realised that he was being trained to be the dragon. And it's kind of quite interesting, because now you've got questions of like, who is this father figure, and what did he go through, and why is he so upset with everyone now? And I don't know, like, going back to that speculation and that intrigue that wrestling fans like, I feel like I got a little bit of that from that Aleister Black promo, and it makes me want to see what the next part of the story is, because are we going to be introduced to this father figure? Is this going to be someone that's going to be around? Is Aleister Black going to have like some sort of manager, or if so, who would that be? If not, then what's the next part of that story? the presentation, of course, you'd imagine now is going to be different. I can't imagine he's going to be wearing and looking the same as he was before with the same entrance music and everything. He might have the same entrance music, but I'd imagine the graphics and the look, the presentation, just already feels very different. Him sat down in glasses, for example, was already very different. So I like the idea that he is someone that is a bit of a cult leader kind of a vibe. I'm into that. I don't necessarily need him to lead a cult, because we've already had like Retribution, which was sort of a cult. People following Mustafa Ali, believing in what he stood for. So we've sort of had that recently. And obviously the Wyatt family being arguably the most famous. So I don't know that I need a cult. But he definitely gives off those kind of vibes. He gives off like a really cool kind of 70s vibe, actually. It's a bit of a retro look that he's got at the moment. What was the name of that guy that did have that cult? I can't remember his name. There's the guy that... There's a very famous name, a guy that had a cult. I was getting very strong vibes of him. So, I'm really intrigued. So, where do I think it's going to go? After one promo, it's really hard to say, but I think definitely a heel. I think potentially some sort of cult leader. I think he's going to be quite slow, methodical, thoughtful. We know that he can get in there and deliver some action. I mean, his kicks and striking is some of the best in WWE. So when he's got to go, he can go. So I think that's quite interesting, though. I like the counterbalance to that. I like the fact that he's going to be very slow, methodical, taking his time, very thoughtful. But when he needs to get aggressive and needs to deliver in the ring, we know that he can. So I'm really on board with it at the moment. Really do like it. I think it's quite interesting and intriguing. Right, trying to go down. Mike Johnson on PW Insider Elite Audio says Adam Cole was told he was being called up, says Anthony. Well, we'll see what he says tonight, shall we? He's on the show tonight. Jim Jones, Jadam, yes. Quite a few people in the chat saying Jim Jones. Jim Jones is who I was thinking of, but yeah, there's quite a few names there that I recognise also. All of them are still applicable. So, but Jim Jones was the one that I was thinking of. I was getting those vibes. I was very, very much getting those vibes. But as I said, all of that is just stuff that I've taken away, and I'm sure many of you got the same messages. And maybe some of you got different messages. Feel free to share whatever your thoughts are in the chat, of course. I mean, I say this all the time, but whenever we're talking about subjects... I hope you're getting your thoughts and points across in the chat as well. But I thought that it was quite intriguing. I was quite on board with it. So we'll see where it leads on Friday. But yeah, Jim Jones, well done, everyone. Team Thug Rose, says Wolfman Sam. Loved it. Tatiana Wrestling said, Days, did you watch Impractical Jokers? It wasn't that big over here, to be honest. It was, I think it's on, one of the Comedy Central channels that's, buried away on the cable guide. Here in the UK, we pretty much watch, Channel 1, BBC 1, BBC 2, ITV, Channel 4, maybe a bit of Channel 5. And then once you start going into the cable channels, I think the viewership greatly decreases. And then, you've got Netflix and all of that kind of stuff. But honestly, our main channels are BBC 1, BBC 2, ITV, and Channel 4. Those are the 4 major channels in the UK. It was never on those channels. So you had to go to, Comedy Central, which, I'd only be speculating how many viewers that was getting. So I don't believe it was all that big here. I think it's kind of got a bit of a following though, because I think it was getting spoken about, and obviously on YouTube people watch clips and whatever. So I think there was an awareness of it, but
I don't know. It was never really on my radar, but whenever I watched it, I thought it was cool. Yeah, I thought it was fun. When I first heard about it, I was a bit worried. Not worried, but I thought that it was going to be like, jocks. Just like people that are deeply unlikable, that are just messing around. Like prank videos on YouTube. Just deeply unlikable people. But I think the secret of their success is they're all actually quite likable. Like whenever I watched the show, I always kind of felt sorry for them because they were being put in situations they didn't want to be put into, and they all seemed like nice people. And I think that was a big secret to the success of that show. Because when I first heard about it, I thought that they were all just going to be tools. So yeah, I saw a few episodes. Let's put it that way. Shout out to Michael. Hope you are well. Let's scroll down. What time is it? Oh, whoa. We've only got 20 minutes. Days, would you rather AEW or NXT? Asks Christian. I don't know what you mean by would I rather. Do you mean like watch? If they were both on at the same time and I could only pick one? I mean, it's very difficult because obviously it depends what's on each show. I mean, we had that whereby they were on at the same time, and honestly, some weeks AEW was better, and some weeks NXT was better. The one thing I would say is I think I scored NXT higher in those head-to-heads more than I did AEW. So if the cards were quite similar, and I was interested in both shows, I would probably choose NXT. And I suppose the other thing about NXT is that these are the stars of tomorrow for WWE. I mean, like, you watch Zoe Stark now, who's actually on my screen right now. Zoe Stark taking on Saray from last week. You watch the likes of both of those, actually, and you kind of know that both of them have got real potential to be in matches at WrestleMania in the future. So I think that always adds to it as well. Because you can look at these and go, wow, could you imagine, like, Asuka versus Saray? Could you imagine Bayley versus Zoe Stark? You kind of look at some of these women and or superstars, and you can make dream matches. You can't really do that with AEW because there's not really anywhere else for them to go. So I think that's kind of part of the appeal of NXT as well. So I hope that answers your question. Days, what if Aleister recreates a Ministry of Darkness? I mean, I don't think that's going to work that well in 2021, to be honest. I kind of feel that was a very different time. I kind of think now that now that the cat's out the bag, right, and now that people are a bit more clued in and, we're a bit more aware, I kind of think that those sort of gimmicks are a little bit difficult to pull off. I'm not sure if it's done well, if they can execute it well and make it feel not just like a Ministry of Darkness rip-off, then sure, I'm on board. But I suppose my fear is that it's gonna be rubbish like Retribution. Do you know what I mean? Look at Retribution. They couldn't do it. Retribution, a vigilante group that want to get revenge on WWE, should be super easy to book. I mean, honestly, you would struggle to book that wrong, and they found a way. They found a way, didn't they, of booking it wrong? Pretty much all throughout the story, they booked it wrong. But I wouldn't have much confidence that they would be able to book that. I think honestly, the problem with WWE is once you start to get any kind of size to a story, it starts to go wrong because I think there's too many people involved. I think the business is too big, whereby you can't get every part of the business singing from the same hymn sheet. Like, you really can't deliver the same messages on social media as what you can on the TV show because it's being run by different people. So it's very hard to get like a unifying voice to, support whatever you're trying to do. With a story that big, I think it starts to wobble and just can't be delivered. So, yeah, I think that if they can execute it, absolutely, I'd be on board. I don't think they can execute it. Dave, you might not agree, but I think Lily should come out with Shane McMahon's theme song. Boom, get roasted. Who got roasted in that one? Austin says, my favourite episode of The Jokers. I love all of those guys. Yeah, I honestly think that's a big part of it, isn't it? They are really nice people. Thoughts on Nathan Fraser, FK, formerly known as Ben Carter. I haven't seen his matches in NXT UK. So I can only tell you about Ben Carter, but I heard the buzz about Ben Carter because I hadn't been watching AEW Dark, and I heard about, wow, there's this amazing guy on AEW Dark, incredible. And honestly, you think to yourself, he's not going to be incredible. He's not going to be incredible. He's going to do a load of flips, and he's going to do a load of eye-catching moves that people are going to go, wow, can you believe he can do all this stuff? But there won't be any psychology to it. It won't feel like a proper match. It's going to feel like a performing gymnast. Do you know what I mean? Just literally doing different moves, but there being no psychology or anything to the match. It's not going to be hard hitting or anything like this. It's just going to be flips, and it's just going to be awful, right? And I must tell you, I was never that way. I was never that way in thinking. I just think it's become too much now. I remember go back a few years when we had that Will Ospreay Ricochet match. I really feel like that was a very important match in the history of wrestling, which might sound a bit strange, but that match at the time generated such buzz. Will Ospreay versus Ricochet. And the reason it generated such buzz was because these two were doing loads of flips, loads of stuff, but the action was really fast-paced. They were both kind of trying to outdo each other. They were both wrestling the exact same style, and it was so different in a way, certainly different to anything in WWE. But I feel like that has become very mainstream now. I feel like in the years that have followed, that's something that's just everywhere, and now it's just oversaturated, and now you're just getting a load of flips for the sake of it, and it just doesn't feel like that special anymore. Whereas I feel like the Ospreay Ricochet match did actually feel quite special at the time. If they were to do it now, I don't think anyone would bat an eyelid. I kind of feel like it's a match that would probably just play out on AEW. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think anyone would really. I think people would be like, wow, yeah, that was really good. But it wouldn't feel as big as it did a few years ago. So anyway, I was expecting that. And I was so pleasantly surprised because Ben Carter does have those flips and those abilities. But he can tell a story in the ring as well. He can sell, and he can get himself into some bad situations and looks like he's not going to get out of them and find a way out, and he's got reversals, and he's got the ability to kind of tell that story in the ring where you feel like you're rooting for him, and if he goes for a big spot, it's not because he wants to do a big spot, but because it's high risk and he feels like he's going to get high reward. And if he's going to go for it, he's going to go for it. And he the way that he checks when he's climbing up, and he's he hits a big move, and it's not move. It's kind of like there'll be a bit of a lull, and then he'll go for one of those high spots, and then there might be another little lull, and then he'll go for something else. But it seems like he's only going for it to help him win the match, not so much to just impress you. So I was very impressed when I saw his AEW Dark matches, the way that he was structuring his matches, and the way that it felt like a proper contest. So yeah, I was very, very impressed. And honestly, I think that's maybe what made him stand out, is the fact that he didn't just go in there and do cartwheel back elbows and spins, splashes off the top, and tornado splashes to the outside, and all these different kind of aerial moves. He didn't just go out there and do all of this to show, look what I can do. He put it within a structure of a match. And I think the fact he was able to do that and take so many people on a journey I mean, like, some of them false finishes at the end are fantastic. Like, honestly, you really feel like he's going to lose that match several times. And, he's able to get the win in the end. So, really good. Really, really good. If he can keep developing, add in, different kind of things to his matches, not just relying on the same spots. If he can tell different stories, shorter matches, longer matches, really explore different things during the matches, like table spots or anything really. Flesh it out a little bit more. He's got a bright future, but I don't want him to get known for just the aerial stuff, because there's too much of that in wrestling anyway. I hope that he gets known for being able to put together good matches. Let's go down. I asked what you thought about Ben Carter. You didn't have to read me a whole book. Jeremiah said, Days, when will we see another video with Mama Days? Because those were so entertaining. I honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I said before that I was doing like fun videos, and I was getting up and really thinking like, what do I need to do today? So I was very much focused on like just trying to deliver fun videos each day, or like let's try and do a figure video today, or let's try and do something with Mama Days, maybe an interview or whatever it might be. But I don't have that mindset anymore. Because when I wake up now, I know it's like, right, need to get ready for NXT. What are the matches? What are we looking at? Where are we with the storylines? Like, my mindset is very, very different now to where it was a couple of years ago, now that we do the watch-alongs. So it's like NXT tonight, AEW tomorrow. We've got SmackDown coming up. We've got UFC coming up. I need to think about what we're doing on Sunday. My mind is more in all of that now. So it's just a bit different. So, I honestly don't know, is the answer. I honestly don't know. Days, do you think if Kenny Omega shows up in WWE with the titles, it would change the business? Change the business? Don't know. Don't know if it would change the business. I mean, to be honest, I don't ever expect that. I know there was a lot of excitement around the Jericho Stone Cold podcast, but I never felt that was the start of a WWE AEW relationship. I don't think many other people did either, but there were certainly some people out there that were getting carried away. I just don't see it. I think WWE are just whatever. I mean, I honestly think they're just leaving AEW to their own devices. They're not paying them any attention. They're not firing shots at them. They're not doing anything. They're just literally, it's as if AEW don't exist. So I don't expect that to ever be the case, unless Vince ever buys AEW, but I honestly don't know why Tony Khan would ever sell. But I don't know, I mean, unless TNT drop the TV deal and then Tony doesn't see it as being viable anymore, and so they get put up for sale and then Vince buys it. That's the only way that I can see Omega taking those belts to WWE, because I don't ever see there being a working relationship between the two companies, unless Vince dies or leaves. Right, then I don't know what would happen then, because I don't know who would be in charge. But whilst Vince is around, no, because he wants to be the only wrestling company, doesn't he? He took over all the territories. And he wanted to take over all of wrestling. So why does he now want to promote AEW? Doesn't make any sense. Anna said, visually, the Ricochet Ospreay match is stunning. But when you break it down, there was no story. The no-sells were consistent. I feel like that's the reason Ricochet isn't a top guy in WWE. I agree. That sort of match is now what we're getting everywhere. And that sort of match is not special anymore. I think going back a few years ago, you could overlook the no-selling, and you could overlook some of the what you would now see as weaknesses in that match, because the action was so fast-paced. The moveset was, just stunning. Like, it was just, you just didn't see matches like that, or I certainly wasn't seeing matches like that. But yeah, I mean, you certainly, even now, you're not really getting matches like that in WWE, for example. And I don't believe you was getting matches like that in TNA, WCW. I mean, you were certainly getting glimpses, but not anything on that scale. But now that AEW is around, and AEW in particular, you are now starting to see matches along those lines on a very regular basis, where it's just high spot, high spot, high spot, high spot, bit botchy, no selling. I'm not trying to run down AEW, but I do think it's a problem. I do think it's a problem, and I definitely have more of an appreciation of the way that Ben Carter did it. And obviously that's how we got onto that subject. But it's a very interesting subject. Kind of like, where is modern wrestling? And I think modern wrestling is asking that question at the moment as well. Christian said, who else saw Tom Lawler become the first New Japan Strong open weight champion? I didn't see it. People will have to let us know if it was good. Vape Ross Vape said Tony has got way more money. He could buy the WWE. I don't know. It's $4 billion, I think WWE are rated at. Scroll up. Joaquin said Days listens to too much Jim Cornette. I do like Jim Cornette. I do listen to his podcast, but I certainly don't agree with everything that he says. He's very critical of like women's wrestling and quite critical of Asuka. So I'm certainly not in agreement with everything Jim Cornette says. Obviously, he's very critical of AEW as well, but there has been some stuff on AEW that I have enjoyed. If I didn't, I wouldn't bother doing the watch along. So there are things on AEW that I think have been quite good, but yeah, they are. I would say more guilty than any other promotion for delivering those kinds of matches. I don't even think that's a controversial thing to say. Anna Dawes, shout out to you. Vape Ross Vape said Tony. Oh, we read that one. 5 minutes. Yes. Woo! Days, are you going to see UFC 262? Yeah. Joshua, can you give me a shout out? Shout out to you, Joshua. I will be watching UFC 262. Looks like a decent looking card, which I don't think is fully. Is it fully finished yet? I think the main card is, but I don't think the rest of it is. That's the Tony Ferguson one, isn't it? Tony Ferguson's on that, and I think, is that the lightweight one? I'm sure 262 is Chandler against Oliveira for the lightweight championship. Tony Ferguson in the co-main event as well. So looks like a good card. Maybe not quite as big, as stacked as the one that we just had, because that had 3 championship fights. But I feel like this could be quite an important card because we are now moving on from Khabib. So there's going to be a lot of intrigue there. Did you see Kenny say that he's going after another world title in the US? I did not see that, no. NWA would be my guess. They've got a relationship with NWA, haven't they? So him going after the £10 of gold, I think would make sense. Mayweather versus Logan Paul has been confirmed for June 6th, says Jonah. Miss Clown 1 said, I like Hogan's heel turn best when he said, you can all stick it, brother. That was a great heel turn. I don't know how the chat's got onto that subject, but yeah, that was a great heel turn. Jeremiah said, Days, is Frank Mir still in the UFC? No, because when I used to watch him and Rampage Jackson, they were my favourites. No, he's not. He's too old. I don't know what his exact age is, but it's like 45, 46, something like this. He was fighting on the undercard to the Jake Paul thing the other week and lost a boxing match. So yeah, no, he's not still in. Days, people say WWE don't have huge stars like Austin, Rock, and Cena, but we say that because of nostalgia memories in a decade or two, people will start saying the same thing about Becky, Roman, Seth, and Bray. I mean, certainly Roman, maybe Becky. I don't feel that her run at the top was that long, in all fairness, though. I kind of feel like she caught fire at that Survivor Series. And then, wasn't she she reached the mountaintop, like, at the WrestleMania? And then, I don't know what they did with her, really, for that year. Honestly, between WrestleMania 35 and WrestleMania 36, I can't really remember much about Becky being that spectacular. Certainly don't feel like we reached the heights of where she's standing with her arms out and the blood. Like, that for me is the pinnacle of Becky. That's Becky at her absolute best. When she, like, just before that Survivor Series where she was got the broken nose from Nia, and then, as we said, WrestleMania 35 is where she obviously wins the main event, and then everything after I kind of feel was a bit of a don't know. I just kind of feel like there's a real hot 5 months, 6 months, and then everything else really settled down. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I don't know. Days, is this the plan of Vince to make Raw worse and then AEW made counter and then make another WCW? I don't think so. I think that's way too convoluted. I don't know why they would look to purposely make their program bad to try and coax AEW in. I don't think so. She was champ for a year and now she's gone. Loads of people miss her as much as Cena and Ronda. People do miss her. She's definitely got a lot of fans. And I'm not denying she's not a big star. She absolutely is. But I just don't know if I would compare her to the likes of Austin and Rock. She certainly reached heights that no other woman has reached. I would say that from a impact point of view, from a fame point of view, she's got higher than any other woman. Because of winning the main event of WrestleMania. It's kind of very significant. But I don't feel that her run at the very, very top at that level was all that long in retrospect. It's just a thought. Right, we are beginning. Beep, beep. Oh, is it going off, is it? I can't hear it. Oh, sometimes I get to it, but I couldn't get to it today. Right, this is not an NXT preview. This is NXT. Oh, I haven't even tweeted, man. People don't even know that we're live. Flippity-doo-dah. Well, I mean, in all fairness, if they don't know by now. Right, WWE NXT, that'll do. New starts. Right, I was deleting this off, wasn't I? I need this. Dakota Kai making her way down. So, is she going to do a promo or straight into a match? Because she has got a match tonight. Looks like we might be going straight into a match, yeah? Dakota Kai is taking on Mercedes Martinez. This is going to be our first match of the evening then. I think Mercedes Martinez has got a match coming up with Raquel Gonzalez, so she's going through Dakota Kai first. I think Raquel Gonzalez looks awesome with that championship as well. She looks so... It just really, really fits her. Days, you're weird. Get roasted. Joaquin, shout out to you. Have you heard of Pro Wrestling Eve? Yes. UK female wrestling-based promotion, the home of many WWE women's wrestlers with the likes of Toni Storm, Ginny, Nikki Cross, Paige, and more. I have heard of it, yeah. I did want to go, actually. But I don't know if they've been doing shows, again, if they're back up and running. But they do bring over some Japanese stars. And I think I don't know if they've got a relationship with Stardom or who they've got a relationship, but I know there are Japanese women that come over to the UK, Pro Wrestling Eve, which I believe is based in London. So, I would like to go to one of those shows. Right, Mercedes Martinez making her way down. If you had a tag partner, who would it be? Asks Pig and Cam. My tag partner would be Austin 316. He's a massive... I mean, he won't shut up about him, but he keeps going on about Stone Cold Steve Austin, his favouriteest wrestler ever. Constantly talking about him, constantly discussing him, and I just think that maybe he will have learned a lot from Stone Cold, who, you know, one of the biggest stars ever. So I would chill out on the outside of the ring, and I would let Austin 316 do all the work, really. I think we'd be quite a good tag team. I mean, I'd never tag in. I'd probably be streaming on the outside of the ring, in all fairness. But as I said, I think Austin, what with all the Stone Cold footage I'm sure he's watched over the years, I think he'd go in there and do a good job for us. Austin would be the worst tag partner I know from experience, says Brony. Wow. Right, we are underway with our first match of the evening. Days, did you see the video of Raquel, Rhea, and Bianca backstage? They were saying Survivor Series, it could be champ versus champ versus champ, triple threat. That would be awesome, says Harley. I did see a video, yes, but I didn't see that. I saw them doing a... Oh, that was botchy. That was botchy. Dakota jumped up. She was looking for a head scissor takedown. She didn't get it, and it was a little bit botchy. But Mercedes Martinez dealt with it. Used nice over-the-head suplex clothesline as well, and again. I saw them doing a photo shoot, but I didn't see them say that about Survivor Series. Why is Mercedes Martinez still in her Retribution outfit and face mask? I think she's always wore that, to be honest. That's just part of her entrance attire. Hopefully Cole goes to SmackDown. If he goes to Raw, he might make it better and get the ratings up. God knows they need it, says Tatiana Wrestling. James Chadwick says, let's freaking go. Sonny Wolf says, I feel like Mercedes will win. Miss Cam 1 says, let's go, brother. JL said, Days, what's your opinions on Mayweather Paul, which was just made official? I don't really understand it. I'm pretty sure no one else understands it either. I mean, I understand there's a bit of a size difference, but I mean, Mayweather is one of the greatest of all time. I mean, it's hard to see Logan Paul being able to touch him. Do you know what I mean? Like, Logan Paul throws a shot, Mayweather's moving out the way, isn't he? It's hard. He's going to have too good of a defense. His movement's going to be too good. Like, Mayweather's going to be like a fly, just buzzing around Logan Paul. Pop, 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 pop. I mean, I think he's going to wear him down and put him away, to be honest. I don't expect Mayweather to come out and knock him out in one shot, because I think Logan's going to obviously work on his boxing, work on his defense, keep a bit of distance, use the jab, use the range. He's got such a height advantage. I think that, you know, he's going to use it. That's surely the advice he's going to get given. You know, keep Mayweather at bay, use your reach, and try and work the jab if you can. But I mean, talking to Logan about strategies on how to beat Mayweather is just ludicrous. The whole thing's ludicrous. So, yeah, Mayweather, he's going to use the head movement, get on the inside, work the body, wear down Logan Paul, heavy body shots, get a few shots in. Maybe not first round, maybe not second round, but honestly, by the third round, I think Logan Paul's done. Kick by Dakota, and Mercedes Martinez goes down, goes over to the corner. Dakota goes over. Big strike, goes back to the other corner. Going to run round looking for a big kick. No one home. Mercedes Martinez rolls to the outside. Forearm strikes. It's always about money now. Fighters, career politicians, sports athletes are grossly overpaid, says Unbroken 1010. Strikes by Mercedes Martinez. Both women up in the corner. Back elbow by Dakota Kai. And again, Mercedes Martinez comes down. She throws a big strike to the back of Dakota. Nice. She's got her in this razor's edge type move. Oh, she doesn't like bring her down. She flips her over. I don't know what that's called, but only gets a 2 with it. Mayweather will win and make it look easy, says Andres Lopez. NXT has got the greatest commentary table right now. I don't disagree. Is this fight an exhibition? Will it count on Mayweather's undefeated record? To be honest, I haven't seen that detail. I would imagine that because it's boxing, I would imagine it would count. I mean, in order to get people to tune in, I think it's going to have to count. If it's just an exhibition and it doesn't mean anything, people are going to care even less. I don't know. I think it's going to do well. I'm definitely going to stream it. I'm definitely going to watch it because I want to watch it for the strategy. I'm not watching it because I don't know who wins. I really feel that Mayweather wins, and I should imagine the odds are going to be crazy. Right? I mean, like, I'm sure Mayweather comes in at like minus 4,000 or something like this. So I feel like the odds are, heavily in Mayweather's favor. I'm not watching it for that. I want to see the fight. I want to see the strategy. I want to see how they go about it. I want to see, how does Logan work the jab? How does he work the distance? Can he keep Mayweather back? How long can he keep Mayweather back? What's Mayweather's game plan? If he is getting a bit frustrated, can he use his head movement to slip under the jab, get into the inside, start working the body? I want to see the strategies. So that's why I'm going to buy it and watch it and stream it. But, I'm not doing it because I'm like, I wonder who's going to win. If Ricochet turns heel, do you think he should change his style to more of a hard hitter? I think he should change it anyway. I think whether he's a face or a heel, I think he should tweak it. I don't know that that's so much of the problem, to be honest, because I think that I actually think that him doing all that aerial stuff should be right up Vince's street, to be honest, because it's very eye-catching. It's very good on TV. It's the kind of thing, if you're flipping channels and you see him doing something like that, there's a chance that you would stay. Like, honestly, if you're flipping channels and someone's doing a headlock, you might just flip past it. But you would think that Ricochet's style is purposefully very eye-catching. So you would think that would lend itself very well to sports entertainment. So I don't know that it's his wrestling style, which is why he's not on TV. I wonder if it's because he's small, and I wonder if it's because of his promos, and I wonder if it's things more along those lines rather than his wrestling style. His wrestling, how he, because I would imagine, I would imagine that Vince would like that kind of stuff. Although saying that, he doesn't use the Lucha House Party very well. And there's not a great deal of luchas that are being pushed. I mean, look at like Andrade or Angel Garza that have certainly got the ability to do such things. Maybe not as far as what Ricochet can take it, but yeah, I don't know. It's a very interesting point. My guess would be that it's Ricochet's size that's his biggest barrier, if I'm being truthful. William Hensey says, Days, I want Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. I don't think they'd get to the same weight, to be honest. But didn't Tyson weigh in at about, 250, 260? I don't know what he was weighing in at. I can't remember when he fought Roy Jones Jr. I know that Jake Paul came in at 190 when he took on Askren. Maybe he could bulk up. But I mean, he'd just get murdered, wouldn't he? It's hard. I mean, that would do crazy numbers. I think it would be very difficult, though, to do that fight because Jake Paul's getting murdered. So this Mike Tyson is very much the end boss. Yeah, if you're facing Mike Tyson, even this Mike Tyson, I think you've got to be pretty satisfied that you've done everything you want to do in boxing, right? Certainly if you're Jake Paul, because so far, as we've said, he's beaten an MMA fighter not known for his striking. He's beaten a basketball player. He's beaten a YouTuber. He's beaten... Who else did he beat? 2 YouTubers, I think. 2 YouTubers, a basketball player and an MMA fighter not known for striking. Like, Mike Tyson is a very different prospect. So, a Mike Tyson that actually looked very good against Roy Jones Jr. So, I think you could do it if you want the big payday. But you're losing if you're Jake Paul. So, and also, like, you can't trash talk Mike Tyson. Because Mike Tyson's a bit unhinged, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? You trash talk someone like Dana, he's not going to come looking for you, is he? Do you know what I mean? If you trash talk Dana, call him fat and bald and all this kind of stuff, I don't know, whatever Jake Paul's saying, he ain't gonna knock on your door at 3 a.m. I'm not so sure that Mike Tyson ain't gonna do that. So, like, you can't run your mouth if you're in a feud with Mike Tyson either. So, yeah, I would like to see that match as well. Because that would be the end of Jake Paul. Big strike by Mercedes Martinez. I wonder how much they would charge for Jake versus Mayweather. There's a limit. It's Logan Mayweather. And I don't know. I don't know what the price structure was. Weren't they doing... I can't remember if it was that match or if it was the Jake Paul one. But weren't they doing, like, if you buy it before 3 months before, you get it at $24. If you buy it a week before, it's $50. And if you buy it on the day, it's $70. I'm sure there was, like, a price structure. Not those exact numbers, but I'm sure they were doing something like that. So you might, if you are thinking of getting it, you might want to look at it because you could get it potentially at a cheaper price if you order it earlier. Dakota Kai is hurled down and gets kicked in the shoulder by Mercedes Martinez. Dakota Kai screams in pain, rolls to the outside. This has been a good match. Been a little botchy in places, but it has been a good match. Raquel Gonzalez standing in the way. Dakota Kai gets back into the ring. She's trying to distract the referee. Mercedes Martinez coming back in. Almost gets caught with Dakota's kick, but a knee strike puts Dakota down. Dakota going onto the shoulders, but outside interference. So, looked like Mercedes Martinez was about to win. Raquel Gonzalez jumps into the ring. Big boot. To the outside goes Mercedes Martinez. She's stomping away right now on Mercedes Martinez. Screaming at her to get up. There hasn't been any food or flowers thrown on NXT yet, says Jimmy. Yeah, you're right. No one's slipped over. No one's had tomatoes thrown at them. It's weird. What is this? This isn't wrestling. This isn't wrestling. This isn't the wrestling that I watch. Into the ring post goes Mercedes Martinez. Forearm strike to the back. Oh, I like that. I like that. Drives Mercedes Martinez into that fencing, into that plexiglass. I like the way Raquel Gonzalez picked her up then. Raquel Gonzalez just kind of effortlessly, actually, just bent down, picked her up, and Mercedes Martinez was on her shoulder then. It's as if, like, she just didn't weigh anything, but Mercedes Martinez is not the smallest of girls. It's not like picking up Candice LeRae. So, Raquel Gonzalez sending a bit of a message there. backstage with Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. Jeffy, Paul, shout out to you, dude. Appreciate the support. It's Biggie says, when I was 9 years old, I typed in wrestling figures on YouTube and I found a guy with energy and fun. That guy was Wrestling Days. Shout out to you, it's Biggie. Do still love the wrestling figures. Just haven't had a chance to go to the shop since they've reopened. Hello. Frankie Monet is here. Shotzi and Ember have been given some flowers. Dexter Lumis has got them flowers. Why don't they want flowers from Dexter Lumis? Ember was like, I'm married. Hang on. She was fine to accept them before, but now she's found out they're from Dexter. She's like, I'm married. Why don't they want them? I don't understand. Indi Hartwell will have them. I know that much. Bert Sparks said, is it Gaza again with the flowers? I don't know. Yeah, they're a good point. Does kind of call back to... I tell you what, flowers don't get treated well in the world of wrestling, do they? Nia Jax got given flowers yesterday, and immediately she was like, "Ah, boom!" And then these two were like, "Ah, I don't want them. Seems like flowers are the enemies of wrestlers. Sonny says, flowers. Dexter Lumis, yeah? Giving out flowers now. It's his new gimmick, the Flower Man. Nelson said, I didn't like Dakota Kai as a face, but since she's turned heel, I've become a fan. Austin said, flowers, I should buy Days some of those. Oh, you flirt. Hayden says, I love flowers. There you go, Austin. Could buy Hayden some. He loves them. I like flowers as well. I like Thug Roses. Thug Roses, yeah! Enzo, or Enzo Amore. EWC 2020. I haven't seen much of Enzo. I know it's the same person. But has he been competing under that name, has he? Or, was that his rap name? I can't remember. I remember he had a track called Phoenix. And was that by Enzo? I don't know. Either way, Enzo Amore is who I would choose. I had an ex whose eldest daughter would always cut the heads off any when I sent any. What? I think she didn't like you, Miss Cameron. I think that was the problem. $1 Million Man. That was a cheesy joke. It was a great joke. How dare you? Flowers are to wrestlers what bananas are to boats, says Bathstro. Unbroken 1010 said if Dexter was smart, he would have given her poison ivy. Days, will you watch Impact now? I don't have any plans to watch Impact now. I thought the show was alright the other day. No issues, or, I thought it was pretty solid. But we watched it, to see what was going to happen. Was Rich Swann going to be champ? Was Kenny going to be champ? I kind of feel that Kenny will be around, but I don't think he's going to be there every week. I should imagine you'll just get some recorded video packages, and I should imagine Impact will largely just be the same. But we're definitely keeping an eye on things. Their next pay-per-view is called Under Siege, which means the AEW might be invading or something. So I don't know. We'll keep an eye on things, but no plans at this stage. Fiend Bray Wyatt said, my brother punched a hole in the wall and John Cena appeared in the hole. Okay. She hated humans, says Miss Clown One. I'm getting a bit distracted because there's an advert on right now for the documentary this Sunday on A&E for that Macho Man show, which looks awesome. Earlier today, then, we've got a little vignette. Here is Cameron Grimes. Who sat down in that chair? Someone sat in a chair. Someone sat in a chair, very obviously, with something up covering their face. Who? So, Cameron Grimes said he's here to get the most expensive. I can't tell. Is that Ted DiBiase, do you think? I got nothing but time. He turns around. To be continued. To be continued. Someone is sat there covering their face. William Regal. Ted DiBiase. It's gotta be Ted DiBiase, says Anna. We've got grizzled young veterans doing a promo right now. Cliffhanger, why? I don't know, man, but I think that's going to be worth it. Reminds me of when $1 Million Man went to the Jewelers to get the $1 Million Championship. Ted DiBiase is retired, stated he was never going to come back, says Unbroken 1010. Well, we'll see. That has to be Ted behind the magazine. Well, hang on. Let's not get our hopes too high here. It could be someone like William Regal. Okay, grizzled young veterans in the ring right now, but Thatcher? Ciampa and Thatcher making their way out. Thatcher's Thatch can. They better have Cameron Grimes carry around the $1 million title. Could be interesting, couldn't it? Could be interesting. Cameron Grimes with the $1 million championship. I don't know where this is going, but we've got grizzled young veterans in the ring. We've got Timothy Thatcher and Ciampa that have just come out. Ciampa. People are sleeping on the grizzled young veterans, says Cameron. Okay, so Ciampa said last time we faced you, you found a way. And I respect that. Let's go on a long, ridiculous run of speculation about who was behind the magazine. Shoes off. If you hate Gibson, shoes off. They're trying to get that chant going. This isn't the UK, is it? This isn't the UK. We love the old chants over here. Shoes off. If you hate Gibson, shoes off. If you hate Gibson, shoes off. If you hate Gibson, shoes off. If you hate Gibson. They were trying. They were trying at the old Performance Centre. Right, we've got Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. Daze, do you think that Randy Savage could be a good candidate for the GOAT? No. I think that in ring, he was really solid. I think character work was incredible, mainly because it was him. But, and like, it was larger than life, his costumes and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's an argument that he is one of the great all-round packages when it comes to wrestling. Incredible promos, incredible in-ring, incredible attire. Obviously, the entrance music's iconic. Great manager, great stories, championship runs. But to say that he's the greatest of all time, I think. Tian Sha. Don't know what that was. That was Xia Li. Xia Li saying something, and then Tian Sha showed her face. But no disrespect to Macho Man. I'm not saying anything negative about him. It's just, is he the greatest of all time? I don't know. I kind of feel like that probably has to go to Ric Flair. Probably has to go to Ric Flair. I bet it was Brock Lesnar or CM Punk or maybe both behind the magazine. Tim Thatcher looks like his breath smells, says JP Fraud. Tian Sha doing Tian Sha stuff, says Butter Spark. Yeah, Tian Sha. If Triple H did a final run in WWE, I would like for him to win the NXT title, says EWC 2020. I don't know why people think Chris Jericho is the GOAT, says Austin. Did they? Judging by what Ciampa did, I'm guessing he hates Gibson. It was a bit weird. I must admit, it was a bit weird seeing Ciampa, who's a killer, and Timothy Thatcher, who's this mat technician, engaging in that kind of thing. I don't want to say silliness. I mean, it's just a bit of fun for the crowd. It's a bit weird seeing like them take their shoes off. I don't know. I wouldn't really have done that for them. Days, is Johnny on tonight? Oh, I'm sure we'll see the way. They're kind of too important to leave off. They're legitimately the funniest things on the show, in my opinion. So, yeah, we should see them at some point. Cameron said, for me, the GOAT of pro wrestling is definitely Rock or Austin. Johnny, no. James Chadwick says Triple H last match should be against Cross. But Spark says HBK for me is the GOAT. Yep, it's real. I can see an argument for that. Even Ric Flair says that Shawn is probably the best in-ring wrestler that he's seen. So the fact that he had the HBK, the fact he was so good at promos, so good in the ring, yeah. I think Undertaker as well. You could argue Undertaker. Again, what a character. What great promos, great in-ring. So I feel like Ric Flair... But the thing is, Stone Cold had such an impact that you've got to put him up there. Rock was so charismatic. In a way, you've got to put him up there. I kind of feel that Macho is just not even one level below, like half a level below. Like... I feel up here you've got Ric Flair, you've got maybe even, I don't know, I wonder if because now of like the fact that what happened with Hogan, I wonder if Hogan's just that half level below now. Don't know. It's interesting, isn't it? Seth says Bret Hart for me because I'm old. Only wrestler I want CM Punk to work with is Finn. Are we going... Oh, I thought we was going back to that thing. We're not. We're going to Make-A-Wish. In the background, it said Make-A-Wish all night. And we're looking at... Okay, that's nice. So, there's a kid that overcame cancer, which is amazing. So, yeah, Make-A-Wish. World Wish Day is this Thursday. So, if you want to donate, you can go to wish.org. Have we seen this before? I think we've seen this before. So, Swerve's in, like, a studio. Yeah, I kind of like this. So, he's saying, I didn't think you had it in you, but now that I know you do, I'm going to propose something. Falls count anywhere. This time I'm playing with your life. So next week, Isaiah Swerve versus Leon Ruff. Falls count anywhere. It's cool. Tony Storm. Right, Tony Storm is here. I feel like it's been a while since changed the text on screen. It has been a while since changed the text on screen. I don't want Leon Ruff versus Swerve again. I can understand that. We have had it quite a few times. Who's she facing? Tony Storm. I don't know who she's facing. I didn't see her on the preview, so we'll have to find out. Oh, it's a jobber. Tony said, Zoe Stark, you are... So she's in a feud with Tony Storm now. Boos for Tony Storm. Rookie. I wish she had said jobber. Who is her opponent? Zayda Ramir. Right, I'll go with that. I think it's going to be Ted DiBiase or JBL. Where would you put Cena in a GOAT category? Not that high. I'm not a Cena hater. I just think a lot of his success was because he was being pushed so hard. He did have good match quality. He was actually quite good at promos. But, I mean, for me, miles below Ric Flair. I'm a big Swerve fan. I believe he deserves a push, and I think he should have been the Cruiserweight champion when he was feuding with Escobar, says Tatiana Wrestling. Jacob said, is Cena up there with Flair or with Macho, according to your GOAT status? To me, he'd be up there with Flair. No, I'd have him one level below, to be honest. I feel like he was on top when the business was, I suppose, from a money point of view, it boomed. And obviously it's, fantastically successful because of the opportunities that have come along with TV contracts and things like that. But I don't know that more people than ever are like tuned into it. I don't know that. I don't know. I mean, Cena was a massive deal, but I don't know that he really. I think part of the problem isn't Cena's fault, to be honest. I honestly think if you go back to the 80s, WrestleMania had to succeed. If WrestleMania had failed, WWE were done. Like, Vince had already spoken to the rosters, to the people on his roster, and said, this has to work. Like, they were putting everything into WrestleMania being a success. It was a gamble. It was a roll of the dice. If WrestleMania had completely bombed, they were in big, big trouble. So I kind of feel that it was built on Hulkamania. Like, Hulkamania had to succeed. If Hulkamania hadn't have been the draw that it was, we might not have WWE right now. So you can't deny the importance of Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania. It was that fire that WWE rode to, become the big success it was. I can't imagine WWE without Hogan in the 80s. I can't imagine what it would have been like, because he was just everything. He was so important. So that was critical. Then obviously the Attitude Era with Stone Cold. We all know about the Monday Night War and how important Stone Cold was. The fact they were losing for 83 weeks and all this kind of stuff. So again, Stone Cold so important. I feel like that's missing for Cena. For Cena, there's not that peril. There's not that, this has to work. Cena's got to succeed. I don't feel like that was the case. I think by the time we're getting to Cena, you've got Undertaker doing his streak thing. You got Triple H around. You got Tony Storm losing. That's what you've got. Tony Storm loses to Jobber Lady, but it is thanks to a distraction from Zoe Stark. That's lovely shooting star press. Beautiful. You don't see shooting star presses all that often, do you? Certainly not when you're watching Brock Lesnar matches anymore. Beautiful shooting star press. She gets the 3 count, but it is the distraction from Zoe Stark that had come out. I'm into this feud. I really like Zoe Stark. I like Tony Storm. This rookie has managed to get a win. That's good. That's good. So, yeah, Cena, brilliant. Absolutely in the GOAT conversation, but I can't say that I'd have him next to Ric Flair. But, again, it comes down to personal preference, doesn't it? Personal opinions. That was a good... I tell you what, I really enjoyed that moment then. I thought that was really good. I really enjoyed that rookie winning. I did not expect that, said Alex. Days, is there any wrestler that you would put over as the GOAT? After studying marketing and anthropology, I would put Rock over Stone Cold and Hogan because he was the first big ethnic wrestler. We got Bronson Reed about to go to his match, and Johnny's kind of standing. That was good. So Johnny and Candice were kind of standing where Karrion Kross and Scarlett were last week, right by the entranceway. And out of nowhere, Austin Theory's like, why are you standing in the dark? That was good. That was good. This show's all right, man. This show's all right. That was a good match, just. Nice little upset. Nice little funny little moment there. Now we're going to Austin Theory against Bronson Reed. It's all right, man. It's all right. First match was all right as well. All right, let's change this over. I want to come back to that last one. Austin Theory versus Bronson Reed. Yeah, I want to go back to that last point because that's interesting. Boo, 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 boo. So those kids act dumb said you'd put Rock over Stone Cold because he was the first big ethnic wrestler. I wouldn't personally. I would say Stone Cold's above Rock. The reason why I would say that is because Stone Cold and McMahon meant more to move in the dial than I think what The Rock was doing. I think The Rock was charismatic, a massive star, right up there with Stone Cold. But I would actually probably do that again with saying that The Rock is just below. I kind of think actually Macho Man might be on the same level as The Rock. I kind of, if I have to really thin out that top layer, I think it's Flair, Stone Cold, Thez. That might be it. Ric Flair, Lou Thez, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then below is where I'd have the likes of Macho, Hogan's a hard one though, because I kind of feel like Hogan could go in that one next bracket up, but it's just where he is now with, like, you know, all the stuff that's happened in recent years. And I'd say Rock is that level below. I understand what you're saying about you know, him being like his ethnicity playing a part. But there was champions before. I mean, like, you're talking about Junkyard Dog was massive in the territory days. Ernie Ladd. I mean, Junkyard Dog was probably the biggest, but Ernie Ladd was a big deal. Tony Atlas was a big deal. But probably Junkyard was the biggest black wrestler up until The Rock. Granted, Junkyard probably didn't get the same exposure. Well, certainly not the same exposure that The Rock got, because Rock was obviously international, whereas Junkyard kind of did join WWE, but very late in his career, and it was still the 80s, and still, you know, WWE wasn't being shown all over the world, kind of like it was by the time we're hitting The Rock's era. So I do completely understand where you're coming from. But I just think that Stone Cold is just that little bit above because of his feud with McMahon, the importance of the business. I think McMahon said that Austin made more money for WWE than any superstar had up until that point. Like Austin 316 shirts, think about those sales. Think about just that shirt alone and the impact that had. Yeah, I think Rock's right up there, but it's hard. We're really separating the greats of all time. It's a very interesting conversation. And one that's you can't really say there's rights and wrongs to. Like, I can't really say that Macho shouldn't be right up there or Rock shouldn't be right up there. It's just personal opinion, isn't it? Is The Undertaker right up there? That's a big question. Is The Undertaker up there? Do you have Ric Flair, Stone Cold, Undertaker? We've got LA Knight just being interviewed. Now we've got Everrise. What have we got now? Is this Austin? I don't know. Austin Theory's entrance music. Right. Out he comes with Johnny and a very glum-looking Indi Hartwell. Indi Hartwell making her way down to the ring. Very sad, Indi Hartwell. Candice going after Indi Hartwell. So, Johnny and Austin still trying to do their normal intros. But it's clear that Indi Hartwell is gutted. So sad for Indi. I really love the way. I think they've hit gold with the way. I really do. I think what they're doing, I think... with them is brilliant. Indi is acting like a 6-year-old. She is, yeah. I mean... like, is she acting like a grown woman in this kind of... I don't know. I mean, how old is she? Like, honestly, I could see, like, a 19-year-old acting that way. I don't know how old she is. She's maybe not 19, but, nah, I'm into it. When you're talking about GOAT, I feel like Cena would be categorized with the likes of Orton, Ziggler, Miz, and people along those lines. I don't know. I don't know, because, like, Cena operated well above Ziggler. Ziggler didn't really touch the main event scene all that much, so to put Cena on the same level as Ziggler, I'm not sure. Orton, I could see an argument for Orton and Cena being quite close. But Cena main evented multiple WrestleManias. Multiple pay-per-views. Sold how much in the way of merch? I kind of feel like it really puts him on a different level. But again, I have to keep going back to the fact that this is all subjective. There are no right... I don't want anyone watching this thinking I'm saying that they're wrong. All I can do is say that I disagree for me personally for this reason, that reason, this reason, that reason. But it doesn't mean that anyone is wrong, because it's all subjective. I mean, we're arguing about who's the best. Do you know what I mean? It's like... it's all subjective. Johnny is trying to help Austin back into the ring. Bronson Reed is coming round. He charges into Austin Theory, who falls to the floor. Candice and Johnny are trying to check on him. Obviously, if Bronson wins this, he gets another opportunity at the championship. Bronson warning Johnny not to get involved. Austin Theory, lovely, rolls into the ring. Nice drop kick. Cena and Orton are known for their memes, more for their memes than for wrestling. To the outside goes Bronson Reed. Super kick by Johnny. Over the top comes Austin Theory. Crashes down onto Bronson Reed. Indi Hartwell gives a light applause. Joaquin Uribe said, my GOAT is Buddy Rogers. Hey, listen, if that really was your GOAT, I would be so impressed, because I could see there being... Could there be an argument for Buddy Rogers? Maybe. Maybe there could be an argument for Buddy Rogers. You could argue there'd be no Ric Flair without Buddy Rogers. If that really was your GOAT, I would be super, super impressed. I really want to get his book. There is a Buddy Rogers book that just came out. And again, just for the kids that are watching, Buddy Rogers was the first ever WWE champion. He operated in the NWA as well, and Was a massive, massive star. Did so much for wrestling. He was known as the Nature Boy. He had the figure four as a finishing move. He kind of really used to come down with robes and capes and gowns and lots of finery, but did it very much in a Ric Flair way. And this is where Ric Flair got a lot of that stuff from. Like, Ric Flair is not the first Nature Boy. He's not the first person to use the figure four. He's not the first person to come down with robes. He just took it to a whole new level. He just really pushed it, made it bigger than it had ever been. So Ric Flair was Buddy Rogers turned up to 11. But Buddy Rogers was the first to do it. And Buddy Rogers was one of the biggest names in wrestling. And it's so weird now because that whole era is never spoken about. It's like Lou Thez just never gets spoken about. Ed Strangler Lewis never gets spoken about. But these names were... You can't... It's like Jerry the King Lawler is massive. Like, Jerry the King Lawler is huge when it comes to wrestling. But again, like, his importance and his impact's never really spoken about. He was the king of Memphis. And honestly, like, everyone around there knew who he was. You couldn't walk down the street without getting mobbed. But you just wouldn't know that. Like, you just know him now as the guy that shouts puppies during the Attitude Era. So WWE do a horrific job. They could not do a worse job if they tried of talking about their history and like some of these names. They just think of all the footage that they're sat on, and they just never draw on it. We never, every single Raw, they could do a spotlight on a different wrestler, couldn't they? Easy. Once a week. 50 odd times a year, they could give a spotlight. This week's spotlight is on whoever, and just a little video package talking about this wrestler and what they brought to the business. Check them out now on Peacock. Little free plug for Peacock. You're informing your audience about a superstar they might not be aware of. You're talking about what they achieved and key matches that they had, and you're ending it by advertising Peacock. Win, 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 win. 5-minute segment. Doesn't even need to be that long. Different one each week. Beautiful. Beautiful. Be amazing. Be awesome. Think of all the things we would learn. I would love that. I would absolutely love those little segments, but they don't do them. Don't ask me why they don't do them. I have no idea why they don't do them. No idea why they don't use. I mean, they've been going since the 1960s. They've got so much footage. They've got their own network, and they never, ever, well, rarely do they use that much of it during, like, Raws or anything like this. You just never see it. So I wish they digged into that. I mean, right now we're all excited. We might be about to see the $1 Million Man. Do you know what I mean? It's like, Days, you're old. How do you know people in Memphis knew Jerry? Were you in Memphis in the 60s and 70s? I wasn't there, but there was many people that were. And there's many stories about how big and successful Jerry was from multiple different sources. I mean, like Dave Meltzer, Jim Cornette, shoot interviews with various wrestlers. Not only that, obviously, everyone knows about Jerry Lawler and Andy Kaufman. Andy Kaufman actually wanted to... I don't want to get into all of this, but Andy Kaufman wanted to wrestle in the WWE, but Vince Sr. wouldn't let him. And so he ended up going down to what was really the second biggest hotbed of wrestling around that time, and went down with Jerry Lawler and worked with Lawler instead. And, Lawler was on late night TV. And obviously they had all that incident as well. So, yeah, huge. Absolutely huge. And that program drew such interest. Such interest. So, yeah, crazy. Territories were massive. I think people don't appreciate, like, some of the numbers that the territories used to draw were incredible. Bigger, equal, if not bigger, to what wrestling gets now from a viewership. Some of the territories were able to achieve in just states, single states. Anyway, that's all by the by. Triple H goes under the radar as a GOAT, says the Mouldy Spoon. Great promos, great in-ring, and was also parts of 2 factions with DX and Evolution. Shoulder up by Bronson Reed. We're at the almost coming up to the halfway point now. So next commercial break, we will do halftime scores. We've got Austin Theory in control. We've got Indi Hartwell with a head in her arms on the edge of the ring. Mind is clearly elsewhere, says Beth Phoenix. Picks up Bronson Reed, couldn't quite do it. Against the ropes goes Theory. Samoan drop by Bronson Reed. Shoulder up by Austin Theory. Is HBK up there as a GOAT? Well, the only thing that would stop HBK would be his main event status. Like, he did main event multiple times, but he never really carried the company. You know, Ric Flair carried wrestling for, you know what I mean? He was the NWA champion multiple times. I mean, they say 16, but it was more. So he carried the NWA. Hogan, as we said, in the 80s. Stone Cold in the Attitude Era. Lovely suplex there by Bronson Reed. But HBK didn't really carry the WWE. He did have title reigns. But I don't know that... It's kind of like how CM Punk didn't really carry WWE. Like, he had title reigns, but he wasn't really the focus. There was other things going on. Hey, here's Lumis. Oh, she's not seen. I can't wait for her to see. Look at him sneaking down. She's got her back turned. Candice kicks out. Look at Candice kicking out. Indy's like, no. Oh my God, this is heartbreaking. She's saying no. Look, oh, stop creeping after her, you creep. Why is Johnny gone away? And she says no. Go away, you creep. It's a shame that this is interfering with this match, to be honest. Lumis moves her out the way. Theory collides into Lumis. Clothesline by Reed. Yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest, I don't like that bit. I don't like it interfering with the match. I don't mind him coming down and there being a little thing, but... Big splash by Bronson Reed off the top. Boom. So, Reed wins, which won't come as a surprise. Did Indy just say you talk too much? You talk too much. I'm pretty sure that'll get used on Botchamania. Yeah, so big win for Bronson Reed. Dexter was just following Indy. I know, it's a bit weird. So we're just seeing a replay. I really like the way, and I really like that story, but I just kind of feel like when the bell rings, let's not do that stuff when there's a match on. In a way, they used it to protect Austin Theory, so they've used it as a way of Bronson winning, and it not, you know, making Austin Theory look that weak. But to be honest, NXT didn't really used to do that. NXT, when it was on the WWE Network and only ran for an hour, it didn't have that much outside interference. And we see quite a bit of it now, and I wish we didn't. I remember when I first watched NXT, that was the one thing that really stood out to me. That was the one thing that just straight away slapped me in the face. It's like, you would see matches and you'd be like, who's going to win this? Like, how are they going to book this? And there would just be a clean finish, and you'd be like... Because it was so different to what was going on with Raw and SmackDown, that it's like, fair play. Like, who's going to win this? Wow, someone has. So, I'd like for NXT to go back to that. But I do like that story with Indi and Dexter. I would just play it out more backstage. Lumis's character is a bit odd. He is supposed to be a creepy stalker type of guy, but he's over here simping for Indi, sending flowers to Shotzi and Ember, says Brony. Ultimate Warrior was huge until he made McMahon mad, says Jonathan. Right, we are coming up to the halfway point. Jim Gore said Johnny and Candice should give Christy Hame a talk to Indi Hartwell since Lumis in TNA was obsessed with her. Right. We're about to go to commercial break. Start thinking about your scores. Where do you think Bret Hart falls? I mean, look, it's difficult, isn't it? Because when you're talking about the greatest of all time, I do think impact on the business has got to be taken into account. Because if you want to talk about who's the best in-ring technician, then yeah, Bret's up there. But he was never really given the opportunity. He was never really given the ball. He had it for a very, very short time, a couple of times. Like, I'm thinking 93. He's kind of given the ball, but then, like, at WrestleMania, Hogan comes back and takes it right back off him. And obviously, you know, Bret was quite upset because Hogan was meant to drop the title back to him. Hogan didn't want to do that. So I sort of feel like in-ring, no doubt, one of the absolute best. Promo-wise, yep, fine. But he wasn't really given the opportunities that he should have had. I thought what he did in 97 with the Hart Foundation was good. I like the Hart Foundation tag team as well, actually. So I think for all of that stuff, the fact that he did reach the top, I think means that you can certainly put him in the conversation, but I feel like he's around that macho level again, to be honest. Because I think what separates, for me, and again, it's all personal, but what separates your Bret Harts, your macho mans, is were they given the ball? Were they given the opportunity to carry the business on their backs? Macho for a little bit, WrestleMania 4 to WrestleMania 5. Bret for a little bit, but not for a real sustained period like Hogan, like Stone Cold, like Ric Flair, like Lou Thez. You could argue like Bruno Sammartino, actually. Bruno Sammartino might be quite interesting, but to be honest, I don't know what his promos were like. And I've seen quite a few of his matches, but it's a very different era, isn't it? I mean, he wasn't really known as a technician. He was just absolutely loved. So, I don't know, Bruno would be an interesting one, but I don't know that I would put Bruno as a GOAT. But he definitely did have an impact. He was WWE champion for 11 years. When you say out loud, it's crazy. 7 years for his first reign, 4 years for his second reign. That yeah. So Bret Hart, I would have just below. Right, scores 7 says Crazy Ginger Jake Holden. 6 says Let Him In. 549 out of 9 says Laser Ray. 6.5 says Jordan. 6.5 says Brony. 9.35 says Brendan. Let's go back up. Halftime scores. 6.5. Les Ray says greatest manager of all time, Bobby the Brain. I would agree with that. Hayden says 7. Robin says 7.5. Butterspark says 7.25. Shaquem says 6.2. Laurie says 6. Bath Stroh says 7. Brendan says 9.5. Brony says 6.5. Corey K says, is Bruno a GOAT? He's a GOAT. I don't know that he's the GOAT, but he is a GOAT. Broken Dream says 7. Hayden says 7. Oh, we're backstage with The Way. Johnny asking Austin what happened. Ah. Candice is saying that they're trying to steal. So they're working up Indi Hartwell. They're telling Indi Hartwell that Ember and Shotzi are trying to steal Dexter Lumis. So just seeing Finn Balor's Instagram. He went to Mexico. Apparently he's back next week. JP said Bret Hart is underrated. He was very popular in other countries like Germany and India. He influenced a lot of wrestlers like Roman Reigns. Yeah, he's brilliant. Brilliant. I'm a big fan of Bret Hart. Right, we've got Imperium. Make the call. Make the call. Finn Balor next week. Right, Imperium versus Dane and Maverick. Right. Okay, so Dane and Maverick making their way down. Imperium in the ring. Oh, that'll be good. That'll be good. This Sunday, streaming on the network, 2 dudes with attitudes. Diesel and Shawn Michaels, little documentary about 2 dudes with attitudes. That'll be good. I would love to know, like, some of the behind-the-scenes stories, and that's good. Right. I read that Martha Hart forgives WWE and Vince, but still won't let them honor or induct him. Obviously, she doesn't really forgive. But Spark says, love that music. Michael says, a Killian Dane heel turn soon. Daniel said, don't know if anyone has said in here days, but TJ Dillashaw is one of the main events on May 8th against Corey Sanhagen. He's out of the main event against Corey Sanhagen due to a cut above his eye. The doctors won't clear him. Didn't know that. I hadn't seen that. Daniel, shout out to you. Nodfreeze says, what if Wolf betrays Imperium and joins Dane? Don't know. I don't know. I mean, I've got a history, obviously, with Sanity, but I don't know if that's something they're looking to get back into, if you know what I mean. Crossbody by Dane on Aichner. Shawn and Diesel, I loved them together. So Dane in the middle of the ring has got Aichner, who tags in Barcel. Barcel jumps onto the back of Dane. Kick to the midsection by Aichner. Collides into Bartel, who goes to the outside. So we're well past the halfway point. We've got about 48 minutes left. Duck underneath. Nice uppercut. Days, when is the Conor McGregor fight? July, isn't it? I think it's July. Don't know the exact date. But, yeah, it's a big one for the summer. In fact, it's going to be a really fun summer. I'm so excited because Obviously, there's some big UFC stuff coming. I don't know what WWE are doing, but we should get, obviously, SummerSlam, which should have a nice build. You would think that, we'll start to get fans back. I don't know if you saw, but on WrestleVotes, they reported that apparently there was a lot of talk backstage about how the UFC were able to fill that arena for UFC 261. And they're starting to think that fans may start to return sooner rather than later. Because, they're very aware that, there's arenas of fans now and that fans are coming back. And so by the time we're hitting the summer, I'm excited because we should have a good build for SummerSlam. Certainly if fans are back, because you would think all the breaks will be off then. Surprises, call-ups, anything that needs a big reaction, we might get. So WWE should be in a good place. UFC is going to be in a good place. We've got the football, the soccer, the Euro Championships. So obviously I'm properly behind England there, rooting for England. They've never won that tournament. They've got a good team. So definitely I think we're going to do both the semi-finals and the final on the channel. Really, because I want to watch it anyway. I'll be up and I'll be watching it, so it makes sense to cover that. So I can see us doing the semi-finals and the final of the Euros. So really looking forward to that. And then, there's some interesting boxing stuff on the way as well. Obviously, Logan Mayweather coming up soonish. Tyson Fury, don't quite know where we are with that, but I expect it to get done. So, there's some big stuff coming up. Big stuff coming up. Tatiana Wrestling says, yes, the arena was filled. I watched Sammy Guevara's recent vlog, and he showed the crowd it was full. But Spark said, July is always huge for the UFC. This will be massive with crowds. WWE needs fans, and it needs live reactions. If the Thunderdome does nothing for the show, says Brony. I mean, the only thing I would say is it looks visually impressive. So visually, when you're watching TV, it feels big because they're in some kind of arena and they're able to fill it with the screens. I think it achieves that. Other than that, I do agree. I don't think it does much. I mean, I never really pay attention to the screens, if I'm being honest. I never really look at anyone in the crowd. Unless I do it without thinking, unless I do it subliminally, but I don't think I do. So yeah, I don't disagree with that. But it is definitely better than when they were at the Performance Center. That was not a great time. Do you think Kurt Angle is a GOAT? It's really hard for me to say because he's had such an influence and an impact. He's definitely a legend, and he definitely deserves to go into the Hall of Fame. He's definitely inspired a load of people. But obviously, I mean, I don't think when he came back, his run was all that good. So we're judging him really around his first run before he left. And was that enough for him to be a GOAT, a greatest of all time? I think it depends, like, how big your pool is going to be of greatest of all time. It depends where you're going to draw the line. Because for me, my gut feeling is yes, he is one of the greatest of all time. He made a massive impact on wrestling, and it was a great first run. I never watched him in TNA, so if you watched him in TNA, then your opinion of him might be even bigger than what mine is. I never watched TNA. I never watched him in TNA, so all of that part of his career is I don't know about it. But judging him on his first run, yeah, he had a massive impact. He was a big player, and so I could see there being an argument for him being right up there. But he's not the greatest of all time, and I wouldn't even put him in that bracket below. I'd probably put him just even lower than that. So it depends how many people you're going to include, but for me, he'd be more on the fringes of the conversation rather than the conversation. I think, didn't he only main event WrestleMania once? I think he only main evented WrestleMania once, and that was 19, him versus Kurt Angle. And to be honest, him versus Kurt Angle, him versus Brock Lesnar, Kurt versus Brock. To be honest, it probably shouldn't have. It probably should have been The Rock and Stone Cold that main evented 19. And apparently, I think it was going to. So, I don't want to get stuck into all this stuff because we are going back to NXT. But apparently, that was going to be the main event. But it didn't main event because Stone Cold was in the hospital the night before. And didn't he tell this story recently, actually? He was in the hospital. I think, didn't he tell this on Broken Skull Sessions when he spoke to Kurt? That he was in the hospital the night before. They didn't even know if the match was going to happen. Stone Cold versus Rock, WrestleMania 19. So that's why it wasn't put last. Because they didn't even know if there was going to be a match. So that's why Brock and Kurt main evented. If Stone Cold had been healthy and hadn't been in hospital the night before, then chances are that would have closed the show. So I think, I don't know, Kurt only main event in WrestleMania once, and don't know. I'd say he's a GOAT, but fringes for me. For others, I'm sure they feel different. Strike to the midsection by Drake Maverick. Not massively into this match, but Days, do you think Andre and Mick Foley are GOATs? This is the problem, isn't it? This is the problem. Where are you going to draw the line? Where would you draw the line? Are they GOATs? Are they greatest of all time? Absolutely. But are we now confusing? Is the GOAT conversation now just becoming the Hall of Fame? This is the problem. Like, for me, Andre, one of the biggest names, one of the biggest attractions in the history of wrestling. Went around all the territories, one of the most well-known stars in the history of wrestling. Absolutely should be in the conversation. Probably wouldn't be my absolute GOAT because his in-ring, certainly as his career got towards the end, was very limited. His promos were always very limited, but you can't take away the impact that he had and had around the world. He wrestled in Japan, he wrestled everywhere, he went everywhere. So yes, I kind of feel that Andre should be in the conversation. But again, I would, for me, the conversation starts and ends with Ric Flair if you want the actual GOAT. And Mick Foley, yeah, I mean, he had a massive impact. But again, fringes. Mick Foley for me. But yeah, I suppose to be crystal clear, if we're going to say who is the GOAT, I'm going to go with Ric Flair. Clotheslines by Killian Dane. Collides into the corner. Into Aichner. Bartel gets thrown over the top to the outside. Killian Dane is cleaning house right now. Referee putting his hands on Killian Dane. Not allowed to do that. Can't put your hands on a competitor. Nice. Bartel shout. In fairness, Bartel was shouting at Alexander Wolf there. Alexander Wolf has gone to get a chair. And pause it. Do you know what? You might have called this. You might have called this. Look, he couldn't bring himself to do it. Maverick suicide dive through the ropes. I find that very interesting because I haven't seen much in the way of them referring back to sanity. There was the moment the other week where didn't he just like twist his head or something? So into the ring steps goes Dane. This is quite interesting. I am quite into this. I'm not massively into the match, but there's a bit of a wrinkle now. There's a bit of intrigue. What's going on with Alexander Wolf? I tell you what, Volta is not going to be best pleased. Uppercut down. I wonder if they get rid of Wolf out of Imperium and they bring in Timothy Thatcher. I like Wolf in Imperium, though. It's interesting. Jadam said, whoever is the GOAT, it sure ain't Eva Marie. I feel like determining who you think is the GOAT comes down to what generation and era you started watching wrestling. For example, I started watching in 2010s, and it feels to me like Roman is the biggest star. Okay, Imperium on the entranceway. Alexander Wolf takes a step forward. Aichner and Bartel take steps forward as well. So yeah, there's clearly dissension in the ranks here. There's clearly problems between these three. Right, we've got Pete Dunne. He looks a bit better. He looks a bit better when he's not, like, fake tanned. He says, I might jump on a flight, go back home and spark Volta. Good luck, mate. Good luck with that. Let us know how that goes. Karrion Kross, you don't intimidate me. I'm the baddest man in NXT. Try and prove me wrong, I dare you. Something missing there. Still something missing with Pete Dunne on his promos. He's putting like a bit more like oomph into his words. But it's not quite right. It's good, though. I do like NXT because it does give Pete Dunne the opportunity to explore his promos, work on his promos, try a few different things. And once he cracks it, once he gets it, then he can very much go to the moon, to steal a phrase from Dogecoin. But it's not quite right yet. It's not quite right yet. Brony said, looks like we're setting up Pete Dunne versus Karrion Kross, which I am so here for. Efren the Beast says Pete versus Kross will be interesting. Crazy Ginger Jake Holden said generation and era shouldn't matter for the GOAT conversation. It's in the name all time. That means no matter what era, the facts say the person was the biggest star ever. Bunkers LFC says Flair had the most championship reigns. Cena, Randy Orton, near to Flair, should be the GOAT for that reason. Brony said, what is the main event tonight? I believe it's the MSK match. MSK taking on Legado del Fantasma. Who else was involved in that? It's MSK and Kushida taking on Legado del Fantasma. I believe that's our main event. Vinster the Great, shout out to you, bud. Johnny Gardner says, when is your birthday? May 12th, I believe. It's not too far away, so you better remember. Yeah? Better remember, and you better wish me a happy birthday on that day. I don't know what day it is. I don't even know if we're streaming. We probably are, because we pretty much do it every day. But I'm not going to remind you. So, get your diary out. Any guesses on when the superstar... Hang on. Any guesses on what superstar coming back once fans return 100%? No. It's no 100%. I mean, Becky Lynch, you would imagine, will come back. The problem is we don't know when fans are coming back. There's not like a date that we're working towards. So, and there's been no news on when Becky's returning. So, I'd say Becky is probably the big one. Brock is someone that you would expect to come back, but hasn't yet. And it's been a little while now. I mean, we haven't seen him since WrestleMania 36, so it's been a while. But you would imagine that they would stump up the money and bring him back to do something. Him and Roman, maybe, or him and Drew again. Maybe he'd want revenge for how WrestleMania 36 went. So those two names in particular. But I don't really know who else there would be, to be honest. Who else is like a way that you could bring back? Cena could do a little something with. Rock could do a little something with. Oh, here's Bianca. Bianca, Drew. And Naomi. Another little make a wish. Bianca looks lovely in that top. Looks really, really nice. My stupid brother wanted me to make him a sandwich, causing me to miss half of the Bartel match. Hey, look, here we go. We're going back. Okay, so they're getting shown lots of different watches. This watch isn't even going TikTok. Karrion Kross would hate this thing. Look at that fine detail. I love it. Oh! It's not a bad watch, kid, but it's not $1 million watch. Yay! Ted DiBiase! He doesn't have Ted DiBiase money. That's cool, isn't it? That's a cool moment. I mean, like, it's cool. I hope they do some more. I want more. Could you imagine if, like, he keeps doing those little vignettes and Ted DiBiase keeps getting involved? That's nice, but it's not Ted DiBiase nice. It's not. That's a nice car, but it's not $1 million car. They could keep doing those. Maybe you'd get diminishing returns, but that was cool. I don't know. What's going on now? Now there's more gifts. Flowers, chocolates. Would the producers really try and give it to them just before a match? Would they not do that backstage? We've got Candice and Indi have attacked cupcakes. Those cupcakes do look nice. Candice putting the box in the face of Ember. Flowers get smashed into the side of Shotzi. Guys, the fruit basket is down. I don't think there was any bananas in that fruit basket. Can we get that confirmed? I can see a fruit basket. They're getting all excited, jumping around. Robert Stone has got one of the belts. But they're not going to win the titles on a count out, but they think they've won. It's carnage. It's carnage in NXT right now. I don't even think there's bananas in the fruit basket, guys. I don't think there's bananas. That's the biggest problem. They're switching. We're going over to somewhere else now. Adam Cole sit down interview. Oh my. It's carnage. It's a good little segment, though. Right, Adam Cole. It's kind of like in a suit. He's like a businessman, Adam Cole. Okay, he's being asked... I don't know who this guy is or if he's famous or whatever, but he's being asked about how his recovery was. Whether I'm 100% or not, I'm still way better than that entire roster. I know you're new around here, but I don't make mistakes, I make decisions. It's a good line. So we're hearing from Adam Cole, baby. NXT stealing a page from Raw. At least they didn't use tomatoes. No bananas. I confirm. No bananas, says Wrestling Maniac. Animals. That's what they are. Absolute animals. So Adam Cole saying that Kyle O'Reilly got really lucky at TakeOver. He's been here almost 4 years. And right now, they're only just trying to recognize him as a main event player. He's a very good talker, isn't he, Adam Cole? He's a good promo. Hot take, I think Robert Stonebrand has got a lot of potential. All they need is a push, says Tatiana Wrestling. That was quite fun, watching them run around thinking they'd win the belts. I wonder what WWE superstar, if any, are being put out on hold until the crowds come back. Don't know. Don't think any are. I think we've pretty much seen everyone apart from the likes of Becky and maybe Brock. Okay, he says the clock is ticking. He knows where he goes. He knows what his future holds. It's pretty standard stuff. Adam Cole would never be in the conversation to be the GOAT. Right, we're going to see the best Adam Cole that anyone has ever seen. Oh, I don't know where we are now. So, Kyle O'Reilly was watching backstage. Okay. It's alright. That was quite interesting. That was quite interesting. I mean, not really a great deal to it. Adam Cole said kind of what you expected him to say, and then we just saw that Kyle had been watching. What is Diamond Mine? What is Diamond Mine? I was just watching that then, and I was like, have we gone to commercial break? What is this? I was watching it thinking, is this WWE? I don't even know what this is. Did you see Diamond Mine? Or what was that? It looked like some kind of MMA thing. Or maybe that was just BT Sport. I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know what is WWE and what's BT Sport. I don't actually know when we go to commercial. Did you not see Diamond Mine, or was that just me? Because it looked like it was MMA. It looked like a cage, and it looked MMA. I thought that was an ad. I was sitting here watching it going, what's this? And it was like pressure makes diamonds, and the pressure will be turned up soon. And it felt like people putting on like MMA gloves. It was like a cage. You couldn't see anyone. Like, you couldn't recognize anyone. You just saw like hands, arms, and people like. And it felt like it was a new MMA promotion. Or as soon as I saw Diamond, I was like, oh, is this something to do with Dustin Poirier? Are they advertising Poirier already? Poirier McGregor. That's what was going in my head. But and then all of a sudden, when it came up with Diamond Mine and the graphic, I was like, that looks like something WWE would do. That graphic looks like something WWE would create. And now people are talking about it. It's Marina Shafir and it's Jessamine Duke. Is it? Is it? What makes you say that? We got it here. Okay. Diamond Mine. What's this? Is this like Raw Underground, but for NXT? Is this NXT Underground? Only not really underground, it's just MMA fighting. Diamond Mine. I'm into it. It's not a show. I don't know what it is. It could be for the next NXT show. What is Diamond Mine? Don't know. It's the first time I've ever heard of it, ever seen it. Not a clue. New superstar. I don't know. I was getting Raw Underground vibes. I was getting the vibes that it was MMA offshoot. I don't know. I don't know. From MMA background, Diamond Mine might be the new tag team name for... Oh, right. That's... Yeah, okay. Dom 15. I see where you're coming from. So, we were seeing the MMA stuff because, obviously, that's the background for Jessamine Duke, Marina Shafir. So, you think that Diamond Mine might be their new tag name? I could see that. I could see that. Johnny Gardner said, I'm going to steal money from the $1 Million Man. Okay. Marina and Jasmine have got an MMA background. That's why they showed MMA. And it was female bodies in the video. Johnny Gardner said, I miss Raw Underground. Well, I'd be down for them doing something with Jessamine Duke, Marina Shafir. And I think now that they've got women's tag titles, that would make sense. I was getting the impression that it was like a new show within a show. But maybe you're right. I'm interested. Diamond Mine on the way. Right, next week we're going to have Shotzi and Ember versus The Way. We're going to have Isaiah Swerve taking on Leon Ruff. We should get some answers on, or something else to do with Diamond Mine. We've got Legado del Fantasma. Man, imagine a triple pack of wrestling figures with them three. Look at them masks. Them masks are beautiful. Them attires are good as well. Very cool. Right, main event time. When NXT UK gets a network deal, which one do you think it will be? I don't know that it will, to be honest. I don't know that they'll go on to a network. I mean, I think they are shown on a network here in the UK, But I don't know that they've got any ambition or desire to get it onto like USA Network or anything. Because I don't think it would get that. Like, there's not enough star power to bring in the viewers. Right, we've got MSK and Kushida versus Legado del Fantasma, LDF. I want to see Adam Cole and LA Knight in a promo battle. Boom. It will be on BBC Sports, says Dominic. I hope the Way wins the tag titles. They deserve it, says Tatiana Wrestling. William says Ghost Banana and Popcorn. Is that what you're enjoying right now in the final 16 minutes? That's all. Final 16 minutes of NXT. We are in the final throes of this week's show. It's been alright. It's been alright. There's been some nice moments on the show. Days, who is the best superstar in NXT right now? Well, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say, isn't there? Because I feel that Johnny and Adam Cole have kind of achieved everything they need to achieve. They're ready to move up, but I think their height might be a concern. Carrion, obviously, doesn't have that issue. And I really feel that Carrion is going to be a big, big star. So it depends what you're going to judge it on. I feel like Adam Cole is probably the one. But Carrion, don't discount him. Just because he's not been around much. He has good matches, good promos, good entrance. Looks great with Scarlett. He's going to be a big star. Right, we are underway. NXT and SmackDown are good shows. I could just do without the C show, Raw. McLean said, Days, I have to be honest, I barely watched Raw. I was just watching this stream. To be honest, I barely watched Raw. Like, when the matches came on, I was just like, There's a lot of matches that are just fluff. A lot of multi-person matches, and yeah, just nothing really that significant. So, yeah, I was mainly talking to you lot, to be honest. Laurie said, can someone tell me what has happened to poor little Maverick? Well, we saw him earlier. We saw him with Killian Dane. I don't think there's been any health updates. We don't know that, but yeah, he's certainly getting fairly consistent TV time, so I think he's doing all right. Only good thing about Raw these days is the stream, says James. Shout out to you, James. Appreciate the kind words. LSW said, Days, people are theorizing on whether or not Diamond Mine is a tease for Tessa. Maybe. Why MMA, though? Has she got an MMA background at all? Plus, she wouldn't come... that wouldn't be her name, would it? She wouldn't be called Diamond Mine. That wouldn't... I don't know. It feels like it could be a tag name or a faction name, or, honestly, it feels like it could be the name for a show within a show. My gut feeling is that it's either... I could see it being Jessamine Duke Marina Shafir, but I feel like, actually, it might be something to do with some show within a show. We'll find out, won't we? Brony said, this match is not main event worthy. Yeah, I don't really disagree with that. I'm sort of on board, not really watching, not hating, but sort of agree. I would be more into this if it was like a big grudge feud and they'd been at each other and it was a bit more like Inner Circle and Pinnacle. But MSK and, this has had, a week build, 2-week build. I don't feel like these have been at each other's throats that much, and, I don't know, I agree. Days, your birthday is the same day of AEW, so on that stream, I will wish you a happy birthday. Thank you. I was disappointed when Bray wasn't on Raw, says Austin. Tatiana Wrestling says, I think Robert Stonebrand has a lot of potential. They just need a push. Jim said, Tessa is an interesting thought since there is always a diamond symbol as a part of her attire. Robert says, do you like banana peppers? To be honest, I don't know which ones they are. So I can't say. I have heard of them, but I don't know if I've had them. So I can't really say. The best part of Raw for me was Nia falling down, says William. Crazy Ginger Jake Holden said Drake Maverick has been sold to Barcelona Wrestling Club. Andrus says, didn't Marina quit with Roddy? She did, but it was done on camera, which makes me think that it's part of a storyline. So I wonder if Diamond Mine might be a faction. What if it's a faction that's Jessamine Duke, Marina Shafir, and Roderick Strong? Maybe someone else? Maybe because it feels like a faction name, or it feels like the name of a part of a show. Like Ding Dong Hello with Bailey, or Ms. TV. Like let's go to the Diamond Mine, kind of, or it's time for the Diamond Mine. Kind of feels like a segment in a show, like a show within a show, like how Raw Underground was, or it sounds like a tag team or a faction name. And since they quit, and they quit in such a on-camera public way, it feels like they quit or resigned as part of a storyline. It might be Diamond Dallas Page and the Diamond Stud. Days, Daniel Bryan might go to Impact or Ring of Honor. Let him in says, have you got a favourite chocolate bar? Don't know, it's difficult. Difficult because I like different chocolate bars for different things. So if I'm feeling really hungry, then I like Snickers. I think Snickers is the same here as it is in America. Sometimes they can be a bit different. Like I know, is it Milky Bar here is different in America to the one you have? But I think Snickers is the same. But if I'm hungry, then I do find that quite satisfying. It's got peanuts in and caramel, bit of nugget, bit of chocolate. I feel like I'm eating something. I still feel hungry after, but as chocolate bars go, that's not bad. So Snickers if I'm hungry. But if I'm not hungry and I just fancy something quite nice, I really like Dame bars. I don't know if you have those in America. They used to be known as Dime bars, but then they changed the name to DAIM. They're nice. I had one of them last night, actually. I like those as well. But we always have a drawer upstairs that's full. Mama Days loves chocolate, so there's always toffee crisps and Mars bars and Milky Ways and Lion bars and loads of different things. But Snickers and Dime bars. I think Roderick is ready for the main roster, says JP Form. Twix is my favourite, says let him in. I love Milky Way Midnight Dark. I don't know that. I don't know that one. I think... you're in Canada, aren't you, Jim? So, Milky Way, is that see, we would call it a Mars bar here. Is it got, nugget and caramel inside, but just no nuts? I think it's like a layer of nugget and layer of caramel with chocolate around. I think that's what you would have as a Milky Bar. Over here, Milky Bar is very thin and it's white chocolate. Nothing inside, it's just thin white chocolate. Quite milky. But that's a Milky Bar. It's completely different in the UK. Dime bars are great, says Crazy Ginger Jake Holden. I love those. Yeah, I love them. I actually had a dime bar Easter egg that Mama Days got me for Easter. I didn't even ask for one. She just came back from the shops and she's like, I got this for you. I was like, oh, thank you. So I had that for Easter. A dime bar Easter egg. It's nice. Big kick by Kushida. So MSK and Kushida very much in control. That's exactly what a Milky Way is. It's nugget, caramel, no nuts. Yeah. And then a Snickers bar is that, but with nuts. Kushida is part in the rope so that MSK can jump through them. Collide into Legado del Fantasma. White chocolate equals vanilla. 100 Grand Twix and Snickers are my favourite. I love Kit Kats, Reese's, and Twix. I used to like Reese's. I like the Reese's Pieces. I like those. I don't think I could... I did have one of the Reese's Cups. I couldn't really get on with them. They're a little bit like... I don't know how to explain it. A bit dry. I eat it, it's a bit... kind of sticking to your mouth kind of a thing. But Reese's Pieces, they're cool. They're in manageable sizes, aren't they? Not as big. So, yeah, Reese's Cups I couldn't get on with. I mean, granted, I think I've had one once. So, I don't know, perhaps I haven't given it an opportunity. Excellent work so far by Wesley. Coffee Crisp chocolate bar. Have you tried caramel M&Ms? I haven't, no. No, I'd love to try those. Sound nice. I like M&Ms. I like the peanut ones. Chocolate ones are all right, but I prefer the peanut ones. But caramel sounds nice. I like cookie and cream Hershey's. I've heard bad stuff about Hershey's. Apparently, American chocolate doesn't taste great to Europeans. Apparently, our chocolate is different to yours, the way it's made. This is honestly what I've heard. And apparently, like, Hershey's in particular just doesn't taste very nice to the European palate, is what I've heard. I could be wrong. I'm being serious. It's something I've heard. Kushida got planted through the announce table. Kiss my grits. Get roasted, says Joaquin Uribe. Roasted! Excellent work by Legado del Fantasma to kick out. I've only got 4 minutes left. A marshmallow cup. Oh, I've never had one of them. I love Reese's, both Pieces and whatever. I love Reese's Pieces and Reese's whatever. I think they're called Reese's Cups, aren't they? I've heard people on shows and whatever say Reese Cup. To the outside, which I don't know that we have, to be honest. I think we have Reese's Pieces, but I don't think we have the cups. Miss Splash, right? We've got back elbow by Wesley. Mendoza down. Inzaguri kick. Escobar goes down. I think we put a lot of sugar in American chocolate. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's great. Like for you guys, and I don't know. Maybe I'd have it and I'd enjoy it as well. I just saw this article talking about how to you. It tasted different to Europeans. Super kick by what's his name? Nash Carter, is it? Kushida being helped up to his feet. He's trying to get back into the ring. Oh, that's a nasty kick by Escobar. Up on the shoulders. Oh, driver. Driver to Kushida. Kushida looks like he's out cold. Yeah, this looks like it's going to be Legado del Fantasma. 1, 2, 3, and it is Legado del Fantasma pick up the win. J14 says dots. Don't know what they are. Milk duds. Heard of them, but I don't know what they are. Skittles, I know those. Tootsie Rolls are gross. Oh, well, all of them are gross. Dots, Milk Duds, Skittles, and Tootsie Rolls are gross. I've tried Tootsie Roll, but I can't remember. I feel like it was soft. Like a fudge kind of a thing. Skittles, yeah, I'm not crazy on them. Milk Duds sound nice. Dots, don't know what they are. Brony said this match has been boring. Andrus says caramel M&Ms come in purple packaging in case you ever see them. Thank you. I would check them out actually. If ever next to them at the shop, if I see them, I give you my word, I will buy them and give them a go. Rob M says Hershey's is the reason that Cadbury Dairy Milk is different over here. The ingredient arrangement is different to the American ones. That is so interesting. That's really interesting. I don't know why I'm so interested in that, but I'm really interested in the fact that your chocolate is different to our chocolate. I find that so weird. I wonder if, like, when Americans come over and they try our chocolate and they're like, ugh. I wonder if our chocolate is, like, horrible to Americans. It's really, don't know why. Really interesting. Crazy Ginger Jake Holden said, yeah, I bought the cups. I meant the cups. They're great. Reese's cups are like gang. They're like gang. Andra said, my son loves Kinder Joy. What's that? Is that like Kinder Surprise? I love Kinder Bueno. The Kinder Buenos are beautiful. So, how would you explain a Kinder Bueno? Like the long, covered in chocolate. They've got a crispy kind of inner coating, and then in that is like hazelnut paste, which it sounds awful when you say it like that. But honestly, when you bite into it, it's like, it's lovely. It's beautiful. I could eat them till the cows come home. I really love Kinder Buenos, but I don't know what a Kinder Joy is, unless that's just the new name for a Kinder Surprise. Days, does the UK have McDonald's? Absolutely, yeah. When was that? I think our first McDonald's might have been late 70s, early 80s. So, in my little town where I grew up, there was a McDonald's there. So I grew up with McDonald's in my fairly small town. And obviously all over the UK. So yeah, they're absolutely everywhere, and they've been everywhere my whole life. So we've spoke about this before. We have in McDonald's obviously the same menu as you guys. You know, your cheeseburgers, double cheeseburgers, McFlurries, Filet-O-Fish, quarter pounder, Big Macs, Happy Meals, milkshakes. We have the same stuff, right? But every month they'll have special burgers. So they'll do like special things for that month, limited time only. And on quite a regular basis, the burgers will be American themed. And we've spoke about it before, and apparently you guys don't have these, but we'll have like the Mississippi Melt. So you could get the Mississippi Melt, and it might be like a big thick burger with like, I don't know, 3 different types of cheese on, and something. It's like for a limited time only, you can get the Mississippi Melt burger, or it might be like the Texas BBQ burger, which is like 3 patties, and they do all these like little special edition things. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like, and then obviously you can get like the once in a while they'll do the McTasty. I don't know if you've ever had that. I'm sure it's called the McTasty, which was like this bigger burger that they did. So, but yeah, we spoke about it before. It kind of tickles me how in America, like, I doubt you have the Mississippi Melt or the Texas BBQ, because I should imagine, like, why would you have that? You just you've got places you could go to in Texas for that, I would imagine. So, yeah, it's weird. But we do have McDonald's. Is there Cheesecake Factory? No. We don't have Cheesecake Factory. Well, I have to keep saying this. There might be one in London, or like one in London and one in Bristol. Do you know what I mean? But are they all over the UK? Could I go to like Birmingham and go to one? Could I go down the road and go to one? No, I couldn't. And I honestly don't even know that they're in London. I've never seen one in the UK, a Cheesecake Factory. Can I get a shout out? My birthday on Thursday. Michael, happy birthday for Thursday. Do you ever get the chocolate chip cookies from McDonald's? No. I wouldn't be against getting the chocolate chip cookie from McDonald's, but it's not really why I would go there. There's other places I would go to get chocolate chip cookies from. I don't like chicken covered in chocolate. Okay. Right, get in your full-time scores. John says, no, McDonald's over here, we don't have anything fun like that. I live in the US and I've never heard of a McTasty. Well, hang on, I've got to look at this now. I know we're doing full-time scores, but I really don't want to be telling you false stuff. I'm sure it was called the McTasty. Sure it was. McDonald's is bringing back the Big Tasty. Big Tasty, sorry. Big Tasty. Hang on, let me find an image. Yes, Big Tasty. There it is. Yeah, Big Tasty, sorry. I'm trying to find a good picture of it. In fact, I mean, like, I'm explaining all these things. I don't know why I'm not just showing you pictures. Do you know what I mean? McDonald's. Yeah, I don't even know what I'm looking for. UK. Texas burger. I don't know. Does that bring anything back? Nashville. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that'll do. Oh, that might be better. That'll be better. Okay. I know, like, this isn't... You're not seeing anything at the moment, but I'm going to show you some stuff. Right. Just to end this conversation about McDonald's, yeah? And then we will go to the full-time scores, and then I will let you all run away. First thing I'm going to show you is... this. First thing I'm going to show you is nothing, apparently. Why can't I show you this? Where did it save? Save. Oh. Saved in that folder. First thing I'm going to show you is this. This is the Big Tasty. So, that's the Big Tasty. Look, Big Tasty. Big Tasty time, guys. It's Big Tasty time. That's what a Big Tasty looks like. So, the patty is a big... by the way, this is not sponsored by McDonald's. This is not sponsored by McDonald's. But this is a burger that they do offer, like, once in a blue moon. You can't get it all the time. But it's just like... You know, like in America, I think sometimes they've done the McRib. We've had that here sometimes. This is like one of those that you can just get from time to time. So that's the... I don't really like it, to be honest. I don't really like the sauce. I mean, it's all right. It's bigger than a Big Mac, so it's got that going for it. But it's not my favourite, personally. So that's a Big Tasty. And then these are the American ones, or some of them. So... You can see in the UK here. I'll make it big. So it's a bit distorted, isn't it? It's not the best picture ever. But like week 1. So each week. So this was May 11th to 17th. This was going back a couple of years now. But May 11th to 17th, you could have got the Miami melt. You could have gone into any of the UK McDonald's and got yourself a Miami melt. Week 2, Chicago Supreme. Look at that bit of melted cheese on top. That looks lovely. Maybe I don't know what we've got in there. I don't know what we've got going on in that one, but it looks lovely. Week 3, the Texas Grande. Texas Grande. It's got a picture of Ariana Grande on the box. That's not true, by the way. But yeah, again, look melted. These look lovely, but I haven't had dinner yet. These look amazing. So we've got Texas Grande. Then we've got the New York guys. It's the New York Classic. The New York Classic on June 1st. Hey, welcome to New York. Get the classic. And then we've got the New Orleans Deluxe. I've no idea, like, why these burgers are given these names. Like, I've no idea, like, what makes that New York, what makes that New Orleans. When I think of Texas, I think meat and I think barbecue. So, I don't know, maybe there's some of that on the go. I have no idea what makes that Chicago, and I have no idea what makes that Miami. But here we go. This is the world that we live in. So, yeah, these are the kind of things that we get from time to time over here, which maybe you don't get in America Land. America Land. So, there we go. As a man of my word, I showed you those images. This background's a bit off, innit? The Bend Over Burger. Got to give people what they want, man. Everyone wants the Bend Over Burger. Right, boom. Let's go down to the recent comments. I wonder if we'll ever get those here. McDonald's needs to make more of an effort with their menu. Heel Santa asks, Taco Bell. We just started to get them a couple of years ago. We, to my knowledge, hadn't had them before. And then they started to pop up in places. I went to one in Southampton. I really enjoyed it. I must say, though, I didn't feel, like, full after. I had, what was it called? Some, Crunch Wrap or something? I can't remember. But, like, Crunch Wrap Supreme meal or something like this. I don't know. But, yeah, I still felt a bit hungry after. But the food, I mean, it was nice. I enjoyed it, eating it. I probably should have just ordered double or something. But, yeah, they started to come over. But honestly, I've no idea where we are with an expansion. But, yeah, they weren't around when I was young. No Canadian-themed burgers. To be honest, I can't think of one. If there was going to do one, then it would probably be like something to do with Niagara Falls. It would probably be something to do with where are the Rockies? I don't know where the Rockies are. Bit ashamed to admit that, but I don't actually know. I'm gonna have a look. UK Canadian burger. Let's have a look. There's one called the Canadian Stack, actually. There's one called the Canadian Stack, which I've never seen. Oh. I've never seen this one. This is interesting. It's got nothing to do with wrestling, and I think it's just like the worst stream in the world, but we're learning stuff together. The Canadian Stack. So here's a picture of the Canadian Stack. So 2 succulent beef patties, cheese, bacon with a rich maple barbecue sauce. Oh, there we go. What about a Canadian Destroyer? Days, you like steak? Oh, yeah, I love steak. That looks nice, doesn't it? I'm going to be honest. I don't think I've ever seen that burger in McDonald's. It's going to have been on the menu when I don't go that often. I'm not someone that really goes to McDonald's all that often. I used to pop in time to time when I was like working in retail, because they're always open first. They're, like, everywhere else opens at like 9 or 10, and they were always open from like 6. There are a few in the UK that are 24/7, McDonald's wise. So yeah, I certainly never go in like late at night. So I never saw that one. Looks nice though. I'd definitely give it a go. The Canadian stat, that looks interesting. The burger for Canadian wrestlers. Right, I missed your scores, didn't I? Getting properly sidetracked. I mean, it's not like us, is it? It's not like us to get sidetracked like that. Joaquin said, wrestling stream clicks. Oh, hang on, what's this to do with Big Macs? Yeah, that's true, isn't it? Hey guys, come in. We're doing a watch along for NXT. So this is the Big Tasty. This is the Canadian stack. Yeah. Someone clicking in will think that this is like some kind of drive-through menu. Austin gives it a 6.5. Let Him In says 6.5. Bonkers says 6.95. Johnny says 9. J14 says 6.25. Saturday night live stream, NHL, yes or no? No. Brendan, no, forget it. You constantly ask me for NHL streams, and no. We might, and by might I mean just like 20% chance, 25% chance. Like I'll go that high. Might do like the Stanley Cup final if there was nothing else on. If it's on a Sunday and there's nothing on, then there's a chance that we might do the final. But other than that, no. I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about NHL. Other than the fact it's hockey. That's it. Right, score-wise, I'm gonna, yeah. I mean, look, this show was all right. Oh, hello, what's this? Whoa, where have I gone? Okay, I just clicked a button then I've never clicked before, and I completely disappeared. Right, I'm gonna give this 6.5. Probably about a 6.5. Probably, I'm feeling a 6.5. Actually, do you know what? I don't know if 6.5's... I'll go 6.75. I'll go 6.75. I'll tell you the truth. The truth was that I saw Austin was 6.5, and I was like, we'll have some fun with that. But then I was like, actually, my initial score was 7, so 6.75 feels fair. That feels fair. And that's it. We're done, friends. We're done. Dry those eyes. Dry those tears. Don't you dare be sad. Do you know, I'm just looking at analytics right now, and since the show ended, there's been a little drop-off in viewers, which means that there is a small portion of people out there that are not interested in McDonald's talk, and I find that so upsetting. I find that very disappointing. Shame on them people! How dare they click off whilst we're talking about burgers from around the world? But I wouldn't change it. Okay, boom. Right, and that's it. We're done. Yeah, decent show. Not a bad show. Little bit just bland in places, but there was enough good stuff in there to make it entertaining. I like the way. I do think they're misusing them just a little bit. I don't like it when like the Indi Dexter stuff gets in the way of a match. I also think that Indi, she's telling Dexter to go away. She looks sad because she wants to be with Dexter. Dexter comes down, tells him to go away, and he's following her. And then she's also getting upset when other women are getting flowers and all this kind of... I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a guy, but I'm just a bit... Hang on. Is she into him? Is she not into him? I don't understand. So, I don't know. It's all getting a bit messy and a bit... I don't know. So, yeah, I really like them. I think they're funny. But just a couple of things I personally would have tweaked. I thought some of the action was good. I just think there wasn't really anything OMG. I think we've seen better. But it wasn't a bad show. So, yeah, I'm kind of feeling that by NXT standards, I think this is pretty average. So, awesome. Right, we are back tomorrow for AEW and One. We will do One. So, we're going to be back for those tomorrow. And don't know what we're doing on Thursday, but on Friday we will be back for SmackDown. And then, of course, we've got UFC at the weekend. Awesome, guys. Have a great evening wherever you are and whatever you're doing. I'm going to go off to have something to eat, which I'm even more hungry now after seeing all of those burgers. So wherever you are, I hope you are having a good evening. And hopefully I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.